second time using this.
There we go. We made it. All right.
Nice.
We live.
Cool. We're here.
What's up, business nerds? It's Wednesday night. That can only mean one thing. Besides, my T-Wolves are going to go take down the Lakers tonight is what they're going to do. And aside from that, it's time for Home Service Happy Hour. Brought to you by Best Damn Bookkeeping. And tonight we got Justin Owen from Department of Doody on. And in my episode description, I just couldn't help myself but make a bunch of shit puns. Like it's just what struck me to call it a shitty episode. And we're gonna talk all kinds of shit. Justin, how the heck you doing tonight?
I'm doing good, man. Happy to be here.
You got 5 kids.
Yeah.
How do you even have time to sit down and record a podcast with the guy?
YouTube, tablets.
Yeah.
Yeah. They're all on playing Roblox.
Oh, there you go. What's your spread? What's your age spread?
So I have my first two boys. They're 15 and 13, and they're both at church tonight. And then,
are they getting into the girls now? I suppose at teenage you got like girls around your house giggling and stuff.
Not here, but yeah, they do like the FaceTime and all that. And it's super weird for us. We're not really ready for that. I don't feel old enough to have boys with girlfriends, but
yeah,
they're doing it.
I'd imagine.
Yeah. And so I got the ones here are I have a 9-year-old girl, a 7-year-old boy, and a 3-year-old girl.
Oh dang!
They're the ones that are here hanging out with me.
You got the full spread. Do your older boys help take care of the younger ones? Like, is there a chain of command, like you like growing up on a farm type of thing?
No, they used to until they became teenagers. Now
I was gonna say now they're too busy
themselves.
Yeah, now they're either hiding or they're out doing stuff.
Yeah. My 9-year-old girl, she likes to help out the most. She's like the little mini mom, so she helps out a lot.
I got that. We got I got an 8, about to be 9-year-old girl. We were just at her soccer practice tonight, and then my other girl turned 7, and then we got a 2-year-old that's about to turn 3, and my almost 9-year-old. Definitely, I have to remind her. I'm like, Danny, you're not the parent here. Like, we got this. We can do the parenting here. You can still be a kid, but she'll try to like take charge of a situation. I'm like, man, you don't have to be the bad guy. That's what dad's for. I get to be the bad guy. Don't try to take my job away from me.
Right.
Guy.
That's mine. She'll be 10 in July. Actually, the 3 that are here with me will all be 4, 8, and 10 in July. All 3 of the birthdays are in July.
Was that intentional? You guys like plan on summer babies? Like, hey, this is when we have to have a child. We got to do this now.
I had no idea how to do the math to plan that out. It's too much work for me, so it just happened that way. The other 2 are March and November, but we have July 1st, July 16th, and July 24th.
Oh dang! Just gifts galore. Do you just do one birthday party then? We
did last year, but now the soon-to-be 10-year-old and 8-year-old. They want their own party. They're getting older now.
They're starting to get ideas. Yeah, they're starting to get ideas about what it's supposed to look like.
Yeah. We started a foam party business about a year and a half ago, and so we use that. Like, hey, we can have a lot of friends come over here. We put up a big, inflatable slip and slide, and I did all the foam, and so now they're kind of used to it, and so because it's like their normal thing, so they're like, no, we need something else.
Yeah, we've done that. We got to try something new. Let's get some of them blow up machines stuff.
Yeah, as they get older, it's going to get expensive doing multiple birthday parties, especially 3 in 1 month.
Yeah, that'll be wild. We have I was kind of intentional to the extent that I have any choice in the matter, but I was pretty dead set on spring and like early summer babies. Just because I'm a diehard bow hunter and I didn't want to have to like be going to the hospital when it's the rut and I'm trying to chase whitetails around.
Right.
We gotta make sure we have like spring and summer babies, and we ice fish a lot, and it's hard to take a brand new baby out ice fishing. But once they're like past 6 months to a year, they go anywhere with you. It's super easy to have them out in the fish house. So we got an April and 2 Junes, and my birthday's in June, but now we just skip my birthday. Like my birthday doesn't exist anymore because the 2 kiddos are like the 15th and 22nd, and I'm the 28th. By the time we get to the 28th, it's like, don't worry about me. Like, I treat every day like it's my birthday. Yeah, treat every day like it's my birthday anyway. I don't need to wait till June 28th to celebrate.
That's how I am. My wife's like, I don't know what to get you. You buy whatever you want year round. I'm like, yeah, every day is my birthday. I just get
every day's my birthday. There's stuff coming from Amazon landing on my doorstep every day. Yeah. I don't know if it's for me, but I might open it and pretend it's mine for my birthday. then be
And
like,
then
honey, what did you order again?
always tell her it's about half the price of what it actually was.
Mhm. Yeah, yeah. Like
I
it
just
was,
ordered a
it was.
Rectech yesterday, or no, 2 days ago. Got me a Rectech smoker.
There
She's
you
like, "How
go.
much is that?" I was like, "I think it's like 600 or 700 bucks."
Yeah,
Just don't check their website.
yeah. You'll appreciate it once I start smoking some meat on there. You'd love
Yeah,
it.
yeah, yeah. Yep. Yeah, I burnt my Traeger. I burnt it down about 3 months ago, so it's time for a new one.
How the
I
heck
was
did
doing
that? Like
some.
you burnt it on purpose, or you burned it by accident?
No, no. I did two pork butts, and then it was about a week, and I thought I'd cleaned it, but I didn't. And we had
The
some
grease
friends
on there
over.
just lit up.
Yeah, I threw some burgers on there, and I walked out to go check on them, and the whole thing was just engulfed in flames. So
Oh, I
I
bet. I
unplugged
bet.
it, moved away from the house, and just let it burn.
We had I worked with a guy back in my corporate days, and he just had like a gas grill, but he was smoking a pork butt overnight, or just like slow cooking it on the grill
Hmm.
overnight. And the drippings caught on fire, and then it melted the hose on the propane, and then the propane hose was spraying fire on the
Wow.
side of the house, and it burnt their whole house down.
No
They all got
way.
out. They all got out, and he was able to save the beer fridge from the garage and a set of golf clubs. Like they
That's
grabbed some stuff because it was just like, well, like what are we gonna do, right? It's the middle of the night. We're not gonna put this fire out ourselves. Like by the time the fire trucks get here, it was basically they had to rebuild. But those grills, man.
man.
Yeah.
I feel like his wife would never let that go.
No, no, and he was
Wow.
the crappy thing. Like they had insurance, they were fine, right? But he was doing it for a charity event. Like that's why he was
Oh
cooking
man.
overnight, was for a United Way fundraiser thing and serving food at like a golf event. And
Hmm.
so, and then like everybody from the company would come over to his house afterward and eat. And so he was doing a charitable thing and trying to cook for a bunch of people. And as they say, no good deed goes unpunished. Is like
Or
bummer,
yeah,
man.
I was about to say that. Yeah. He needs a charity to rebuild.
Yeah, yeah. He had a good spin on it though. He's like, we're fine, right? But not everybody would be fine. And so and he spun it as like,
Hmm.
this is why we got to do these things and give back and support people. Is not everybody's fortunate enough to burn their house down and be able to like get up here and talk about it and laugh about it. Like some
Right,
people
that's
that would
true.
be devastating, and we'll be fine. Um,
Yeah.
but anyway, hey, you got a new
Wow.
grill out of the deal. You got a new grill
Right.
out of the deal. This is probably about time to get a new one.
Yeah, the kids
What
want a brisket, so I'm like, I'm gonna
Yeah,
have to
gotta
buy
fall
one
on
here.
the
I gotta make a
sword and get a
brisket.
new smoker. I like now that I'm a cheapo, so I bought a Z grill, like the knockoff Traeger thing.
Hmm.
And mine was like $600. Like it was I don't know, it might even been less than that. And it's still cooking after like 5, 6 years. It's still doing a good job. But
Nice.
you reminded me I should go clean that son of a gun. It's been a while, and like the
Good
ash
idea.
builds up under there. But man, I'll never go back to cooking with gas again. Like those pellet
Right.
grills are so good, and you can just
Oh
do
yeah.
everything. And they don't really burn anything. Like
Right.
flame grill, you can burn some stuff,
Yeah,
but on a
pretty quick.
smoker grill, you might just cook it faster.
Right. Yeah.
It's good. It's good stuff. What's your go to? What are your go to cooks?
I like doing pulled pork
Yeah.
the most. If I'm gonna do like a long cook or something for a lot of people, I like doing pulled pork. Uh,
Do you ever
I
throw a Thanksgiving turkey on there? Do you do
I
turkey on
haven't
it?
yet. I want to with this one. The Traeger was too small. I had a
Okay.
smaller Traeger, so this I got the Rectech XL, so it's like large. You can fit hundreds of wings on it, and
Heck yeah.
so it's a lot more room to do turkey. So yeah, I definitely want to try
Upgrade.
that this year. Yeah.
Upgrade.
Right.
The last couple years I've done our turkey on there, like brine it for a couple days and throw it on there.
Yeah.
Also, not going back to cooking it any other way. I've deep fried them before, and that's good, but it's like $80 worth of peanut oil to deep fry a damn bird.
That's true.
It
Yeah.
costs $30. Like it's cost inefficient. The
Right.
in-laws like it, but I don't know if I like them that much to spend $80 on oil to cook a darn turkey.
That's why I usually let my brother do it. He'll
There
show up
you go.
with the turkey and or prime rib, and I'll
Mm,
do usually do a brisket or something. But
there
this
you go. Whole spread.
this last what yeah, Easter, I did my first brisket in the like regular oven. Not the same at all, but
Just yeah.
everybody
Still
told me to make a
brisket.
brisket, and I didn't want to tell everybody that I burnt down my smoker yet. So
You didn't
I
want to
threw it in
deliver
the
to
oven
bad news.
overnight. Yeah, it was not the same. I mean, it was good, but it didn't have any smoky flavor at all. So
Yeah.
it wasn't the same. And then my
Yeah, and I
dad
think
gave me a stick burner on a trailer. It's like a huge, like one of those propane tanks that you see out on properties.
Oh yeah.
He built it years ago, and it's in my backyard, but I'm just too scared to use it, especially when it matters and they're all counting on me. I'm like, I haven't done it yet. It'll
Yeah.
hold probably 30 briskets, but I
Yeah. Big
just
old dog.
I wasn't brave enough yet.
Well, and I think if you're like lighting one of those up, you feel like you got to feed the whole town. Like you
Right.
got all this capacity. It's a shame. It'd be a shame to light it all up for one little brisket. You need to
Yeah.
like at least half it up.
Right.
Um, I haven't done this for Thanksgiving yet, but this last weekend, my 8-year-old and I went out and shot a couple turkeys. So now we got some wild turkeys in the freezer, and I've smoked the drummies, but you still can't really eat them from a wild bird. They're like
Hmm.
they're still too tough to bite into.
Right.
But they're super tasty if you brine them, smoke them, and then boil them down and like make soup broth out of it. It's dynamite. But I got to figure out how to like
Wow.
make the breast on there brined and smoked.
Yeah.
Might brine them, smoke them, and then fry them. I might do something like that. We'll see.
Yeah.
We're
Yeah. You can try that. I
gonna,
haven't done it since I was a kid. I think the last time I went hunting turkeys, I was probably 12 or 13 years old. I need to take my boys. We've just been so busy with everything else. My dad used to live out where we hunted, and then
yeah,
he moved to help out his parents, and we haven't been hunting since he moved. And that was probably, gosh, I don't know, 7 or 8 years ago.
yeah,
So I need to get out there. I need to find. I guess we're gonna have to find a deer lease. I've never had to pay for a lease because we've always had something, but
yeah. That's
I'm
the
gonna have
hard
to
part,
figure out a deer
especially in
lease.
Texas. There's not like we don't have a ton of public land in the upper Midwest, but there's enough where you can sneak out here, sneak out there. We were on my buddy. My buddy is a farmer, and he let us. He has like 1,000 acres for crop farming, for egg
Oh,
farming, but he let us
yeah.
sneak out there, and he had birds running around everywhere. So we ended up doubling up. Um, I do find like my kids will go deer hunting with me, but it's not like turkey hunting is nice because you're hearing gobbles and stuff. So you get
Hmm.
like some interaction to keep them interested. Um,
Right.
my oldest one now doesn't even need an iPad with. Like usually when it's the younger one, it's like, yeah, we'll bring a screen with so that you sit still and then we'll have a chance at seeing some stuff.
Right.
This all my 8-year-old wanted was some fruit snacks and some granola bars. I was like, hell yeah, we can do that. We can make that happen.
Right.
She can sit
Yeah, that's
still.
good. I need to do that. I bet they would like it. I
It
need to
is
get them out there.
I was gonna say it's just a good excuse to get kids outside because otherwise they will just sit on their darn screens.
Yeah. Yeah,
Although,
my teenager's been better with that. My 13-year-old, like just a week ago, I have no idea why, but he just all of a sudden got into basketball.
oh
And he's been like, he just put a Jordan poster on his wall. I'm like, do you even know who that is? And he been outside playing basketball, had me go buy him a new basketball and a Mavericks jersey. And he's like, I'm like, I don't know where this bug came from, but I like it because he's
yeah,
just like
just getting
multiple
after
hours of the day, or he's out there at 8 o'clock at night just shooting basketball. And I'm like,
hooping it up.
sweet.
Heck
No
yeah,
idea what got him into it, but
it
I
is.
just signed him up for his first league too. So
Oh
he's gonna play
really?
next month. Yeah.
Heck
So
yeah, just getting into it.
I'm just
That's
trying
weird.
to
That's like
foster it. Yeah.
yeah, it's a weird age to be like, I'm gonna pick up a sport right now. I'm gonna
Yeah.
go this one over here. And you're like, what?
Yeah.
Why?
Yeah.
I don't know,
They've always
man.
done soccer, but he's like, I'd rather do something with my hands than my feet. I'm not very coordinated with my feet. So he's gonna
Yeah,
try basketball, and they're homeschooled, so they're not like at like the school with like sports and around kids and all that. I mean, we
yeah,
have a co-op, so they meet up every Tuesday with a group of kids, but nothing
yeah.
where they were around that like every single day. That's why I was like, I don't know where this came from. It's probably the
Yeah.
girlfriend. She's at public
That'll do it.
school and she probably talked about it. Yeah. That
That'll
might be
do it.
what it is.
Yeah, a little influence, a little influence. It's
Yeah.
basketball playoffs, so you watch a game on TV and you're like, that looks fun. I could do that. Get
Yeah.
into that.
Yeah. Now I'm gonna take him to a game,
Heck yeah.
to go to
Heck
the
yeah.
Mavericks team and show him what it's like.
Yeah. It is funny watching kids play sports and figure it out. And like I grew up playing a lot of sports, so I have a hard time like not yelling from the
Yeah.
sideline. Like even
Right.
tonight when Danny was playing, I'm just like, spread out, like get yourself open, give her
You
a
need to
lane
be
to
the
pass for the
coach.
ball. Yeah, like sorry everybody, I can't help myself. Like I'm not
Right.
yelling at your kid, just mine. It's fine. But
Yeah, I'm the exact opposite. I've always wanted to coach them or something, but like when they did soccer, but something about other people's kids, I just like clam up. Like I can't
yeah,
yell, I can't tell them what to do. I'm just like, get your kid. So I thought about wanting to coach, but then when I get out there, I'm like, I can't do this. I can coach mine all day, but other people's kids, I can't do it.
I had an interesting one last year. Same. I think I could do it. But I've been so busy like rebuilding a new bookkeeping business that I haven't been I'm like, I'm on the road, I'm going to conventions, and I'm traveling, and my wife is traveling, and she works at 3M, and so between like both of us traveling, I'm like, I don't know if my youngest, like when my youngest one doesn't need to be watched the whole time and making sure that he's not like throwing rocks at cars or something, then I
Hmm.
think I could be out coaching. But even like tonight, my wife is gone, so it'd be hard to be coaching.
That's
But
true.
that did happen last year with my middle daughter. She was in a game, and I showed up, and the coach wasn't there, and I had the 1.5-year old who needed to be like, he could run around and do his thing, but like you couldn't really leave him alone. And so I'm like on the field, and it's like on the field coaching, right? At that age, you're not on the sideline, you're like in the mix with the kids. And I was like, I'll coach them. And so the whole time I'm carrying around my 1.5-year-old, and Reggie, my daughter, I was clearly being like harder on her. I was cheering everybody else on. And then my kid, I'm like, Reggie, get over here. Reggie, get back on defense. Reggie, like pass the ball. Like, I don't know what to do, but I can yell at my kid. I don't feel like I can yell at everybody else's kids. I'll just be like,
Yeah,
hey
that's true.
girls, how are those dandelions doing? Okay, you want to like
Right.
get up? You want to get up and chase the ball? No? Okay, well, why don't you guys go pick dandelions on the sideline? We'll like sub some other kids in here. You're doing great. I'm
Yeah.
glad you're having fun.
That's
And
exactly how I would be. And then yell at mine more, trying to get them to pick up the slack for everybody else.
yeah, that was exactly what I did. That was exactly
Like
what I
it's
did.
their fault.
I don't, but I
Yeah.
think it'd be like, I don't want to miss the opportunity to do it either, because at some age, like they get into the competitive sports, and then dads ain't the ones coaching anymore, right? So you
Hmm.
only have like a limited window to actually do that. I don't know if I'd like it or not, but I'd give it a shot. I'd give it a shot.
Yeah,
See if I
that's
can.
true.
I'm gonna coach them anyway. Like every time they come to the sidelines, even when we got in the car tonight, I'm like, Danny, good hustle. Like you loved your energy. When your teammate has the ball, it doesn't do them any good if you're 6 feet away from them. You gotta like get on the other side of the field, give them a passing lane, be running forward. You guys are 8, so they probably don't even know how to pass you the ball, but at least like pretend like you're playing the game and not like they're gonna turn it over in the next 2 seconds, because half the
Right.
time you're the one stealing it from them. Like,
Yeah.
give them some room. Let them do their thing. Spread the defense out. I know you don't know
Yeah.
the strategy and you don't know what I'm talking about, but trust me, you want to be on that side of the field, not right next to him. Give him some
Right.
room.
Yeah. And my 3-year-old just played soccer, I guess in fall last year, at the end of last year. And that's how it was. All the kids would just go to the ball. They're fighting it from each other. We're like, they're your teammate. They're your
Yeah.
teammate. And
Oh, it's just a
it's
swarm.
just
It's just
take
every
it
man
from
for himself. Every
there.
man for himself out there.
Yep.
It's fun to watch. It's
Yeah.
like it's just cute.
Yeah.
You
I have
can't
no
even
idea
coach
what's
it.
going on.
You're just like,
Yeah.
good job, everybody. Good job. Yep.
Yeah.
You're going that way. Or at least you thought you're trying to. Well, maybe you're not, but whatever. You're having fun. That's all that matters.
Yep. Yeah, my
Don't
daughter
let them
finally
catch you
got the
kicking
ball and she
grass.
just picked it up and ran off. I'm like, no, no, please put it down. You're the one picking it up and running it off. That's not
You
cool.
got half of it right.
Yeah.
You're going in the right direction. You just broke all the other rules, but I love
Right.
the creativity. Yeah, they didn't see that one coming.
Yeah, but
What?
she fought for it for so long, she finally got it and was like, "This is mine," and just took off towards the car.
Oh yeah, like finders keepers, man. I'm out of
Yeah.
here. Try catching me. I want to chat some business with you. Like how is business going? We'll take a little trip down memory lane here and have you like get into how you got here. But how is it going right now? Is it as good as you want? Is it slower than you want? Just economically, are you seeing any slowdown? What's your vibe on how the world is treating small business right now?
Here it's going pretty good. Um, I did 2 interviews today and, talked with one of my field techs about moving him up to a supervisor, like, field supervisor position.
Nice. That's
We've
always exciting.
just Yeah, we've gotten 80 this has been a good month. We got 88 new clients this month, on a
Damn.
recurring schedule.
Heck
And
yeah.
so, yeah, usually our usually average between like 30 to 40 new clients a month, regularly. And last month was like 70 something, and this month was 8. I thought this month's gonna be like half of that, and ended up being 88 as of today.
Do you
And so it's
historically see a spring pickup?
yeah, we're kind of steady all year long, but spring and fall. So like usually it's January and February, and then
Yeah.
like October and November we get a huge spike.
Okay.
But
Um,
usually not April. But we've been we've been getting a lot of reviews lately on Google. And so I
Yeah.
think that's what it was. I got like 50 new reviews, and like the same 3 days that I was getting those reviews, people were just signing up back to back. And so I think it was something with SEO and Google because we're running Google ads, and those
Yep.
reviews started coming in, and then all of a sudden signups. Like we had 5 signups a day for 3 days straight.
Damn.
Just this
The
week, and I was like,
algorithm's
this
just
needs to
working.
keep happening.
Yeah. How I'm gonna ask you this question, and then we're gonna go do some historical, chronological stuff. But how many clients do you need to keep like a tech or a truck fully booked up? Like, what is a route to you guys?
For a full-time tech, it's the minimum is 150 clients.
Okay,
They do
okay,
about 30 to 40 yards per day, 5
okay,
days a week.
gotcha. Um, so I want to get to like how the heck did you end up picking up poop? But even let's go even farther back in time than that, because usually there's a catalyst of getting into the home service business in general. What's your upbringing like? Was entrepreneurship something that you were always high on, or
Mm,
was it just something that like you stumbled into, or that you intentionally, like I was in the corporate world and like left to do entrepreneurship stuff? How the
right.
heck did you like get started in the entrepreneur small business space?
I mean, I kind of did it when I was younger. I didn't really know entrepreneurship was. But I grew up just my mom really, I mean, she got child support, but she was kind of the main breadwinner, and
Yeah.
she didn't make a whole lot of money. So, we just kind of grew up broke, I say. And so if I wanted anything, I just had to, she got me whatever she wanted. But when I got to the age where I realized that she would buy me whatever I wanted, but it would hurt her, bank account, and we'd
Yeah.
struggle more. I started figuring out how to make money on my own. So I of course mowed lawns like everybody does at 16, and
Hell
I
yeah.
hated that. I hated cutting grass, and so I just
You hated
figured, I don't
cutting
remember.
grass because you kept stepping in dog poop and you got to move
Right.
mow around and all that stuff.
It's
Yeah.
my allergies. I couldn't cut it. Like just cutting the grass, I'd be sneezing the whole time,
Oh
and
damn. Yeah, that's miserable.
then dealing with weed eaters and the string and all that. I didn't like it at all. And so I figured out that I could paint people's addresses on their curbs on the driveway for the same price or more than cutting their lawn. And so I did that for like a full summer, made a lot of money, and um, got me a Bronco for, I was like, I think it was like $1,500 back then, and got my
Heck yeah.
first car. And so I think I kind of like had it in me. I just didn't know what it was. I used to go buy really cheap suckers from the store and then go to school and sell them for like double the price to kids in class.
Good margins.
Um,
Good margins.
yeah, yeah. I don't know what kind of, like I said, I grew up broke, but I always I liked nice things. I just wanted nice things, and you know, um, kind of was called like bougie growing up, and I
Yeah.
didn't like the cheap stuff, and so I'm like I got to figure out a way to make money to get it, and I didn't really
How,
do good in school.
I got to hit on Holly here. Holly's checking in. She's like, "Oh, how sweet. I didn't mow lawns, but I did clean." She was out, cleaning the houses, getting on the
Right.
inside. She was avoiding allergies. You should have talked to her. You could have avoided all the allergies. I was
Right.
out too with you. I was out. I used to have my parents probably should have billed me for it because I was using their lawnmower and their gas. But
Hmm.
I had like, houses up the hill on the street, and I just rolling the clinkety mower up there. And then
Yeah.
I landed a client that had a riding lawnmower for me to use, and they paid me like double. And I was like, oh man,
Wow.
I got to rethink my business model here. Your mower, I'm like, if it's a riding mower, then I'm out like having more fun. I'm driving too. When I'm
Yeah.
14 years old now, I'm driving and getting paid double. Like I need to find more of these clients.
Yeah. Yeah. I mowed for a few weeks, and I had a buddy helping me, and we charged like 40 to $50 for a yard front and back, and then we'd split it. And then when I found out I could charge $20 for each address, $40 a driveway, and keep it all myself, I was like, I'm doing that. And
Yeah.
but I wanted it to look, usually the guy painting addresses back then was like the homeless looking guy. And so I went and bought like a laptop briefcase. I put all my paint in it, and tape and all that, and try to make it look all like official and professional. And
Yeah, man.
I'm not very artistic, so I couldn't do all the colors and the shapes, and so I just called it like, I think I called it like simple safe curves or something like that, as a way to justify like I'm just doing black on white or white on black with the glass beads. It's just for
Yeah.
safety, so that ambulance can find your house, or the pizza guy and all that. And
Heck yeah. That's a good
I
idea.
did
A
that
little
for a
reflection
few
action.
weeks. Yeah. And then yeah, I don't know. It's kind of came back to me because when you're growing up, you're like 10, 11 years old, people always, they ask you what you want to be when you grew up or when you grow up. And I would always say, since I was like, 9 or 10, I would always say a dad. And then, around
Well,
11 or
you got
12,
that part. You got that part with 5
yeah, yeah,
kids
I did
running around.
that.
You
Right.
nailed that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That was always a dream. But yeah, everybody always said, you have to have a job, to be a dad. You got to have a job and provide for your kids. So then, um, I'd always say a police officer. And then, so my plan was I wanted to go to the military out of high school and then, be a police officer and maybe like do SWAT and retire as a detective. I was always into that kind of stuff.
Yeah.
And, and yeah, I started as I got older, realized how much I would be gone doing that, working holidays and Christmas. And I just, like I said, I was really big into, having kids. And so I wanted
Yeah.
to be there with them for all of that. And so I just was trying to figure out, I was like, how can I make money while being at home with my kids? I can't get paid to just be a dad. And
Mhm.
that's when someone was like, we got to be an entrepreneur. And that was like the first time I heard it. I was like 16 or 17 years old. And I was like, entrepreneur, what is that? And
What
they
does
were
that
like, you
even
got to,
mean?
start your own business and then you hire people to do work for you. And so they kind of planted the bug, but I didn't know much about it. Um, and so I just, worked for, two jobs at a time. And I remember my wife even got pregnant with our second son. I have an older brother, he's 8 years older than me. And I had 2 jobs at the time, and she got pregnant. We were living paycheck to paycheck, and I remember
That's awesome.
he got mad about it because he's like, he's gonna be working 2 or 3 jobs for the rest of his life because he keeps having kids. And I
He's
was just
got
like,
to
I didn't
save
know
room.
what, but I was like, I'm gonna do something. I don't know what I'm gonna do, but I'm gonna do something to make more money. And and then I think I was on, I guess I'm kind of jumping ahead, but it was about what 8 or 9 years ago. I guess my early 20s, and I came across Keith Kalfas on YouTube,
Heck
and
yeah.
I saw his video where he like goes inside, I think at the Home Depot or Lowe's, and he's like literally like buying a squeegee and a scrubber, and he's like, "This is all you gotta have, Dawn, water, and these tools." And so I just like went down the rabbit hole of like starting a business and all this kind of stuff, and really started getting into it. And I did. I kind of messed with the window cleaning for a little bit, and then someone asked me about hauling off junk from their house, and
Yeah.
I was like, yeah, I can do that. So I rented a trailer and borrowed my brother's truck, and I did that, and that paid a lot more. So I got into junk removal, started a business I called it Trash Mob, and just ran like a Craigslist ad. I had a little 5-speed Honda Civic at the time. I had no trailer, no truck.
Yeah, I'll
Anytime
figure
I
it
got a
out.
job, yeah, yeah. Anytime I got a job, I would just go rent a trailer for $50 and then borrow my brother's trailer. And then, yeah, it was a mess. I'd use his dumpster at his office or um, try to get to landfill before they closed. But yeah, that's kind of my
Figuring
start
it
in
out.
entrepreneurship. Yeah, I started figuring out like how to pay helpers and pricing jobs, and that was kind of like my start. I got like the custom shirts for the junk removal and all that.
Man, that
And
that Keith Kalfas video where he went into the Home Depot and bought that stuff. I know,
yeah,
like, I don't know that many people, but I probably know a dozen people that started small businesses because they saw Keith in that video. Like,
yeah, really,
it was
I,
such an impactful video.
yeah, yeah, it definitely was.
Also,
Yeah, it got me started because it was like that's how easy it is. And
when I was in the corporate world for about a decade before, I was like, man, I gotta go. I can always come back, but I gotta go try something else. And
hmm
my former business partner had sent me a Kalfas video, and it was Keith basically just going on a rant about all the pain and suffering of being a business owner and like the little bit of glory, like as you get started.
hmm
And it was just Keith going on one. But it was like 5 or 6 minutes long. He sent that to me. And he's like, hey, before you decide to do this, like, this is real. Like, and this guy's a good reflection of it. And he's authentic about it. And I remember watching Keith and I was like, yeah, I can do that. Like, I can grind, I can hustle, I can work
yeah,
hard. But it
that's how
was
I
just funny
was.
to me, like, and Keith is a good buddy of mine now. Like I've flown out and podcasted with him in his studio, and he's flown here. Um, Super good friend. And
Nice.
I got introduced to him just via like, hey, you got to watch this guy in his video before you do entrepreneurial stuff. Like, go
Yeah,
check out some Keith Kalfas. he's just like for getting started, he's so damn influential and is
Hmm.
just raw about it. Like he doesn't bullshit about it. He just is like,
Yeah, and he's just so like high energy.
yeah, yeah. He's just
That's usually how I am, just like kind of high energy. And most business people that I knew were more serious. And I saw Keith, and I was like, he's a lot like how I am. Like if he can do it, I could figure it out. I'm just kind of
yeah,
crazy and out there. Um, Found out Joshua Latimer, started following him, and
yeah,
then when Josh talked about the entrepreneur that jumps off the cliff and figures out how to build the plane on the way down instead of trying to figure it out, I was like, that's me. Like when I started junking, I didn't have a truck, I didn't have a trailer, I've never been to a landfill before. I just wanted to make some money, and I figured that was a good way to do it. And
figure it out.
yeah, I called my brother. I think it was like a Thursday, and I called my brother, and I was like, I have a job wants to pay me $600 to remove junk from their garage on Saturday. I was like, can I use your truck?
How's that trailer? How's the truck in the
Yeah.
trailer?
Yeah. And I
I
remember I
bet.
rented a U-Haul trailer, and it was way too small. I made like 6 trips, no idea what I was doing.
Yeah,
And then found a guy on Craigslist that rented out 16-foot trailers for $50 for the day. So I started using him. Um, yeah, and then I bought my own trailer with our income tax one year. Or it was actually like I guess 6 months after I started. We had I guess three, no, just the two kids at the time. But we got income tax check, and so I bought a $1,500 trailer with that. And then my brother's father-in-law sold me an F-150 so that I could pull
nice.
the trailer. And he
Just
was like,
bootstrapping
he's like, just pay me whenever you get it. And just gave me the keys, and um, started just doing the junk, and went from the F-150 transmission went out. So my brother sold me an F-350 that they had, and I thought that was going to be like my thing. I had 2 or 3 guys that were helping me, and
it.
we
Yeah,
were doing 4 to sometimes 7 or 8 jobs on the weekend.
heck yeah.
Had our full-time jobs during the week, and it was nice. It was like stealing candy from a baby. We felt like we were like leaving jobs
Oh
with
yeah,
just handfuls of cash. And
yeah.
I knew a little bit about business, but not enough to like save the money and put back money. We were just like finally had a little bit extra money, and so we were
Yeah,
just
it's like
spending
you're
it.
like, man, before somebody gets their hands on this, I better, find a way to
Yeah,
put this stuff to work.
yeah. And I worked for the city of Dallas at the time, and I would sometimes leave work early because I had a desk job, and you can kind of come and go as you wanted, and it was all salary. And so sometimes I would leave early and just go home for the day, and I'd get my trailer, and I'd go do a job during the week. And my wife left the house at like 3 o'clock to go 3 blocks down the street to get the kids out of school. And she called me like at 3:45, and she was like, "Do you have your trailer?" And I was like, "No, I'm at work." And she just started crying. She's like, "Your trailer's gone." And
Oh
so
no.
someone stole it out of the driveway.
Oh Jesus.
Um, like I said, we weren't saving any money, and then the F-350, used a lot of diesel,
Oh
and
yeah. That's
had a
annoying.
truck payment on that, and so we filed a police report and all that. And I actually tracked it down on one of the those, I forget what it was called now, but one of those apps where people used to sell stuff on. And
Yeah.
um, I found it on there. Found the apartment complex it was at, the parking lot, everything went there, and it was gone. And but yeah, we spent about 2 or 3 months trying to get it back and trying to do like little side jobs. I started trying to do window cleaning again, and just got difficult.
Damn
Started
that.
having
So that
to,
thing like put the whole brakes on it. That was it.
yeah, yeah.
Jeez.
I guess the financial side of losing it, but then also like it just kind of like I lost all my steam when it
Mhm.
happened. I just like felt so defeated.
Yeah, it's demoralizing.
So yeah, I kind of gave up on it and was like, I guess I'll just keep working. And I picked up a part-time job working for our church doing security there. And I liked that. Signed a year contract with the church, and they trained us and bought us equipment, and doing armed security. And so that was a fun gig. And so between going from my house to City of Dallas, to then going to the different church campuses, it was just way too much, fuel, diesel in the truck. So I sold it, and
Yeah,
bought
that's a
a,
tough gig for an F-350.
yeah, yeah. I downsized to a Honda Fit.
Heck yeah.
And I felt like it was over. I was like, "There's nothing I can do with the Honda Fit." And then that's when around the same time I was listening to Joshua Latimer, and he talked about window cleaning in a Chevy Cavalier. And so I told my wife, I was like, "I'm going to do window cleaning again." Josh did it with the Cavalier. I'll do it with the Honda Fit. It's a
Yeah.
red one. He had a red car. I was like, "I'll be a Joshua Latimer
It's
story."
perfect. It's perfect.
Yeah, so I did it, and we got a we got like 24 Dollar General stores that wanted us. They were paying us cash out of the door to do their windows, and
Oh,
so we
damn.
spent like
Good little
two
deal.
weekends. Yeah, we spent 2 weekends doing that. We finished the last one, and then we're like, we'll be here. We'll do it again next month. And then she was like, oh, we want to do it once every 6 months. Twice a year. And I was like, ah. I was like, this
Yeah.
stupid window cleaning thing is not going to work out. And I spent many days, many nights just laying in bed, Googling, easiest business to start, cheapest business to start, businesses to start with a car, solo, businesses you can start, like just
Yeah.
Googling all the time. And I probably saw, the pet waste removal industry somewhere in there, but um, just never could figure it out. And I was like stuck on like the window cleaning or junk removal. And we went to church, and my wife was like, we need to go for prayer because we know that everything that had been going on. And I was like, no, no, we're good. I felt weird going up there to the front. And so I was like, all right, we'll go, but don't mention anything about, business or anything. I don't want to, it felt selfish to me to talk about
Yeah. Yeah.
that.
Yeah.
And so he prayed for everything, and then she threw it out there. She's like, he also, he wants to start another business. His trailer got stolen, and so she kind of like gave him the little the spill of it. And so then he like prayed for us about that. And then at the end, I always say it was kind of like him doing it, even, it was just so simple, but he just put his hand on my shoulder, and he was like, man, you just got to find something that people don't want to do, and they'll pay you for it. And
Hmm.
I was like, I know. I was like, that's what I
It's as
can't
easy
figure it
as
out.
that. Yeah.
Yeah. And so we went home, and then it was a Sunday, so the Cowboys were playing, and we had some friends coming over. And then they were bringing their kids. My wife was like, she's like, you gotta go pick up the backyard. Like, we never cleaned up after our dogs, and it never even crossed my mind, that being a thing. She
Yeah.
says she always did it, so I just never even worried about it.
Yeah. Sure.
Um,
Sure. Sure.
yeah, he's like, I always cleaned it up. That's why you never had to worry about it because I always did it.
Yeah.
So yeah, that Sunday she was like, she sent me outside to go clean it up. So I'm back there with like a Kroger bag in this hand. I had my hand inside of another bag, picking up these piles. And I picked up a couple piles, and I was just like a light bulb went off. And I was
Yeah.
like, I
Nobody
hate doing this,
nobody
you
wants to
know?
do this. That's for sure.
Right. So I ran inside. I told her, and I said, I'm gonna start a business, charge people to pick up their dog poop. And she was
Because
like,
I hated it. So I'm gonna
yeah.
start a business
And
doing
she was like, for one, she's like, you don't even do our yard. And I was like, yeah, but if I was getting paid for it, I would probably do it.
it. Yeah.
It feels a little different. And then she was like, two, she's like, nobody's gonna pay for that. And so right there, I pulled up my phone, I Googled, pooper scooper service or whatever it was. I put something in, and I saw two franchises came up. And so that was it. I was like, if they're selling franchises, they have to
Yeah.
have clients. You have to be making money to sell a franchise.
Yeah.
And
Something's working.
yeah, so I was like, I'm doing it. So I went straight to the couch. I got on Craigslist. I went to like what I did is I went to like other states and looked up, pooper scoopers, kind of figure out what they were pricing and what they
Yeah.
were saying in their descriptions. And I took a little generic picture off of Craigslist of like there's like a white, I think it's a bulldog or a pit bull. He's like standing up on two legs, scooping a pile of poop. And I threw it up on Craigslist with a little ad, and I was like, I'm gonna try it out. I don't even know what the name was back then either. And one lady, like probably 2 miles from our house, called me, and she had four Great Danes. And so she was like, she asked me what I charged, and I was like, I don't know, I'm going off of everything else. I said $12.50. Come out once a week. And so it was like $50 a month, And so so she signed up, and I was like so nervous. I had no idea what I was doing. I called my mom, and I was like, do you have any like those tools for picking up dog poop? Like the little rake and dustpan, And she was like, yeah, I think I have one out in the backyard. So I ran over to her house, and she had like the little bitty pan you get from like Petco. It's like four
Yeah.
inches by 4 inches, and it was all
Yeah.
rusty and had a little bitty little metal rake. And so I grabbed it, and then I got it back in the car, and I was like, because I was just all excited. I just ran out the door,
Yeah.
and I
We
was
got
like,
this.
what am I gonna put the poop in? And so I ran back to my house. I ran to the front door. My wife's sitting on the couch looking at me like I'm crazy. And I go straight into our kitchen, take our trash out of our trash can, and then run out the door with three trash bags and our kitchen trash can.
Yeah.
And
I'll
so
be
I
right
threw it in
back.
the car. Yeah, I threw it all in the car. It's the middle of summer. It was like 120 degrees outside, it felt like. And no idea what I was doing at all. Never even scooped poop with the tools before. And so I go to these people's house, And it was kind of intimidating, being there and here to pick up poop. It felt kind of degrading, doing
Yeah,
it
a little
and
bit, a little bit.
coming from junk removal to that. And then they didn't have a working gate. So like you got to walk through the house, get to the backyard. And so I do that, walk through the house. There's these four Great Danes just jumping around, barking at me the whole time. And
Oh yeah,
there
who's this guy?
was there
Who's this guy?
was
Who's this guy?
so much poop in that yard. I was there for over 2 hours. One, because I know I like one pile filled up that little dustpan, and
Oh
then I'm
yeah,
walking over and dumping it into my little trash can with the trash bag in it. And it was stupid. I finished, I don't know, between probably 2.5 hours. And
the
I threw all the
lowest
bags
hourly rate you've ever made.
ever. Yeah. I threw all the bags over their fence and walked through the house. And he paid me $12.50 cash. And and then we realized when he's giving me the money, I could smell like dog poop. So I looked down and I'm like just defeated. I'm so hot. I'm drenched in sweat. And there's footprints of dog poop to their house. And I
You're
was
like,
just like,
oh
I wanted to cry. I was like, I'm so
yeah,
sorry. And I was like, you got any paper towels? I'll clean it up. And he's like, no, just go. You're good. Just go.
yeah.
And so I went home and I went inside to my wife. I was like, that was the dumbest thing I've ever did. I am never doing that again. Like yeah, so that was like my first job, and I didn't touch it again for probably about 6 months. It just
Oh
kept
really?
eating at me. Yeah, I kept
Yeah,
thinking about it. It kept bothering me, and so I was like, that's where I came with Department of Duty. Because I don't know what the business was back then, but I was like, if I do it again, I don't need that couple finding me. I don't. I was so embarrassed. Like I don't ever want to see them again.
yeah.
And so I made a whole new name, made up a little logo. I think I used like PowerPoints or something to like make a logo and got a job out in Dallas by my full-time job. I had one client for I think she was like 4 months. She was my only client, $50 a month
Okay.
to just go clean
Yeah.
her yard once a week. And because I was embarrassed, I didn't want to put on Facebook. I didn't have a website. I didn't want to put on Facebook to tell everybody what I was doing because I didn't have any money to show for it. And
Yeah, you're
yeah,
figuring
so I
it
got
out.
yeah, I got probably I guess 3 4 months in, I got two more clients came from that Craigslist ad. And that 150 bucks, we were so broke that 150 bucks gave me like some confidence. I was like,
Yeah.
I'm making some money now. And we had a credit card
You-
that was like maxed out at 300 bucks. And so I was like, that like halfway pays off the credit card, we're good. And so the next day at my full-time job, I made a post in a Facebook buy sell page about it.
Yeah.
And had like almost, I think it was like 27, 28 people signed up from that one post.
Oh geez.
And
You're
I
like,
ended up
oh boy.
doing yeah. Yeah, I even had text my wife, what's going off, and people were messaging me, and I messaged my wife, and I was like, "What do I do? Like, do I delete the post? Like, I don't know how to do this. I have no idea what I'm
Hey,
doing." And she
or
was like,
you want to grab a dustpan and a rake and come clean some poop with me?
"Yeah." That's what she said. She said, "I guess you're gonna take the kids to your mom's house, and me or you are gonna go scoop poop."
Yeah.
And so we spent that Saturday, we cleaned up, we did a little over 30 yards that day.
Heck yeah.
And yeah, it's kind of, went off from there. And but it was slow growth. I had 30 clients, about that first year. We had about 60 the second year, 120 the third year, kind of doubled every
And
year.
now you'd added 80 in a month.
You know what?
Now you just added 80 in 1 month.
Yeah.
Like
Yeah. Now we're
it is
doing,
it's funny. It's like you can't even fathom how many people are out there that want what you do. Like early on when you first start, you're like, man, why would like who's even out there that would buy this thing? And how do I even price it? And how do I even
right.
know how much we could do in a day? And once you get like a little momentum and a little knowledge and start building, all of a sudden, 80 in a month.
Yeah. Yeah. We
Crazy.
still laugh that it's the one that took off, like out of all the businesses that I've wanted to do. And, the cooler ones like window cleaning, pressure washing, all that. And I like this because it's, with the window cleaning and junk removal, it was like, we had to constantly get jobs. You never knew when you were going to get your other, another job, what day it was going to be on, or how many you were going to get. So you never really knew like how much money you were going to make, especially starting out.
Yeah.
So I like this because it's recurring. I have
Yeah.
clients today that started. They were like at least four of them. They've been with me like they're like my first 10 clients,
Oh, no
and they've
kidding.
had dogs pass away. They got new dogs, and they've been with me the whole time. So um,
I'm curious about just in general the pricing model, and I've talked about this. I think I talked about it on my radio show earlier in regards to pricing variables. Like how do you don't have to divulge all your pricing, obviously, but um, what do you look at when you're like, and I'm sure you've learned some things around the way, like $50 a month when you've got 4 Great Danes. Like, well, how do you price it? Is it always weekly? Is there like a recurrence pricing? Is there a number of dogs or a size of dogs or a size of yard or type of grass? Like, what do you look at that dictates how you set a price for somebody?
So usually most businesses are one of two ways. They'll either charge per dog and then how often they're coming out.
Okay.
And then the other businesses will charge like 1 through 4 dogs will be a certain price, and then it changes by how often they're coming out.
Okay.
And then the price is basically for like an eighth of an acre, like a cookie cutter yard. And then we'll charge a little bit extra for larger yards.
Gotcha. Like a
I
little
have had,
multiplier.
yeah, I've had people ask about like, charging less for smaller dogs or, charging more for bigger dogs, and nobody does. And like I've even had people sign up, they're like, they're like, I got 3.5 dogs because they have 2 labs and a poodle. And
Yeah.
you explained to a lot of people like, no, actually, like we should be charging more for the small dogs because you're trying to find, 50 Tootsie Rolls in your backyard
Yeah. The bigger
versus,
ones are way easier
yeah,
to
way easier to
spot and
find.
find and grab. And yeah,
Yeah. And so
interesting.
it's,
Oh, yeah. I didn't think
yeah.
about that.
So a lot of companies will do like, some do like 1 dog is a certain price, 2 dogs, and then once a week, so like basically the typical price is about $80 a month for once a week. And they'll go up. They'll go, 90 for 2 dogs, 100 for 3 dogs.
Gotcha.
Um, twice a week is considered, less per visit, but it's more per month because it's double the amount of visits.
Yep. Yep.
So when I started out, it was like that. It was like every single dog had a price, once a week, twice a week, 3 times a week, every 2 weeks. It was like so many different prices. And so I switched over to grouping dogs, and then people also lie, if they got 3 dogs, they'll tell you they have one.
Yeah.
They'll lie about how many
Yep.
dogs they have. So, and then, if the dog dies, they'll immediately tell you, hey, our dog just passed away. We need to go from 3 dogs to 2 dogs. And then 2 months later, they'll get a new dog, and then they don't tell you. You
Yep.
just see it and you're like, oh, you're so quick telling me that the dog passed away to reduce your invoice. But then you
Yep.
get a new dog, you don't tell. So it was just those frustrating things. So I just decided to group it all together. So we do 1 through 4 dogs is basically it's $80 a month for once a week. It's 130 for twice a week and about 180 for 3 times a week.
Yeah. Okay.
So it's a low ticket, but it takes our average time in a yard is 5 to 7 minutes.
Yeah, as I say,
And then
and that as I say that has to like run some of the pricing model is the charge isn't for the time you spend there. The charge is for the time to get there and back and deal with the shit
yeah,
once you're done with it. Like
right,
the
yeah,
majority of the time isn't actually picking up the poop. It's dealing with getting out there and getting back and getting to the next job and putting the poop somewhere.
yeah, cleaning your equipment and getting to the dumpster. When I started out, I was using my own trash can at my house.
I was gonna say, what do you do for disposal, like, and how do you scale that? Do you like end up having a dumpster at your office at some point? Like, where does all the poop end up?
So most companies, it's one of the two ways. They either haul the poop off their full, pet waste removal company, and then other companies will not haul it off. So they'll just
Put it,
leave it
put it
in
in the
they,
garbage.
yeah, they double bag it, leave it in the customer's trash can. If I started over, I'd probably do that just because most people don't really care.
Yeah.
But I've
If
always
they're
been in
if
the
they're picking it up,
mindset,
that's what they're doing with it, right? If they pick it
yeah,
up themselves, they're used to
yeah.
it in their own
So
garbage
yeah,
can.
my mindset and a lot of other companies, mindset on it is like we're pet waste removal company, so we're gonna remove it. We're
Yeah.
gonna we're gonna scoop it. We're gonna haul it off. You don't ever have to deal with dog poop again. Because when you put it in a trash can, you get maggots and flies during the summer, and
Yep.
hauling it off has been good for us at sometimes because we'll lose clients in the summertime because their teenagers are gonna start doing it for summer.
Yep.
And then usually 3 weeks later they'll call us and sign
They're
back
like,
up
my
because
garbage
they're
can smells so bad.
yes, exactly, yeah. So, but
That's
yeah,
funny.
now we're doing like we're almost at 1,300 yards a week. We did 1,260 jobs last week, and so
Jesus.
it's a lot, and that's with seven people because they're able to just our routes are gotten tighter and tighter. And I had a
Yeah.
guy just the other day do 58 jobs in 8.5 hours with no
Damn.
complaints,
That's
just
moving. I
busting
suppose
through them.
though, if
Yeah,
you're like, if you damn near don't even have to get back in your vehicle because your route density is tight enough, you're like walking the block.
yeah.
How has that evolved for you? Like from when you started out and you had 30 people and you were probably driving from one job to the next job, how much benefit have you seen from just the increase in the scale of the business to help your route density?
Yeah, it's so a lot of people tell me I was screwing up in the beginning because my service area was so large. I would spend 4 hours on a Saturday going and doing like 6 or 7 yards just because I just took clients wherever I could get them.
Yeah.
But I think in the long run, it was actually better because I was so spread out that anytime I got a new client, it was next to somebody else, and it
Yeah.
just started filling in. And so now, it's over 1,000. We're just super tight. I don't know if you know the Dallas area very well, but we're from like West Fort Worth all the way to East Dallas is an hour and a half drive, and we have clients all in between that, north and south, east and west, and so
What
it was.
Go ahead.
I was just gonna say it was hard in the beginning because it was more spread out, and I
Yeah.
made a lot less money. But now that we've grown, it's a lot tighter.
What do you guys run for vehicles? Like, is the poop in like a truck bed, or are you like keeping it
Mhm.
in the like how do you run vehicles to manage hauling shit around?
So now we have the Ford Mavericks. They
Okay.
are perfect for this. They're four-door trucks with a small bed, and they get 40 miles per gallon.
We just got
So
some of those in our window cleaning business here for like hauling pressure washing rigs around. And even
mhm.
with like a full pressure washing setup in there, still getting like 34, 35 miles a gallon.
Yeah, and
Crazy.
they're like $25,000 brand new.
Yeah. Yeah. It's
The
nuts.
the
That's
base
like,
model.
yeah. That's what I was just talking to Andy, my old business partner, about it today. And he's like, yeah, man, like 30 grand fully equipped. And then we throw a rig on them and they're off and running. And they're actually less than a Ford Transit van. Like
Right.
normally we were hauling around Ford Transit vans for window cleaning, and they've just gotten more and more and more expensive. And the Mavericks are arguably, I mean, your gear's outside instead of inside, but for pressure washing, that's better in a way. For poop
Yeah.
scooping, it's better, I'd imagine. So you're not huffing poop fumes all day. Do
Right.
you how's the recruiting for that business, right? You're like asking people to go pick up shit all day. Do you have a hard time finding employees? Do they not mind? Are there smell sensitive people that don't like it, or does it not even like phase anybody?
No, it doesn't really. I don't really have any issues with that, just because we use a big yellow, like the jumbo debris dustpan. We
Yeah.
line it with the trash bag, and we're using a rake to clean it up with. And so most people haven't really cared, but it's a lot better like recruiting than I thought it would be. Like I just ran an Indeed ad, started it 3 days ago, and I've had 115 people apply and like messaging me like very interested in it, and
Yeah.
so it's a lot better than I thought it would be. I posted at 18 bucks an hour. They get a Maverick, they take it home, they get a company phone, a gas card, and I mean it's really laid back job because they basically they don't really get bothered a whole lot. They have a route that's the same route every Monday's the same route, every Tuesday's the same route. Kind of everybody's set up to where they know what they're going to do, and like I said, they take the trucks home. So they get up in the morning, they clock in, they go run their route, they go to the dumpster, clock out, drive home, and we don't really ever bother them unless if they're not getting complaints or anything like that. We don't bother them.
Yeah.
So it's it's
Um,
it's pretty laid back.
how often do they got to come to the shop? Is it like a once a week team meeting sort of thing, or like how do you
Yeah,
get?
it just depends. Sometimes, like if we're like right now, when we're really busy. It's been like once a week. When it's slower, it's usually like just once a month. They'll just stop by
Okay.
on a Wednesday, check over the truck, talk to them, make sure they're all good, stock them with supplies. Um,
Yeah.
it's it's super low overhead on equipment. They have a rake and a bucket that they can use for years, and
Yeah.
really the only thing we go through is trash bags. Um, Trash
How's the
bags and
training?
like milk bones. Do what?
How's the training to get somebody like proficient? Is it just like a couple days to get them dialed in, or are
Yeah.
there enough nuances that it takes a little longer?
So when I first started, I would spend 2 weeks training people because I felt like they needed to see every single yard that they were going to be doing with me, so I could like walk them through it. And we
Yeah.
had clients that got service once every 2 weeks, and so I
Yeah.
would go with them for 2 weeks, and I kind of evolved over the years, figuring out that I could do a week, and then the week turned into 2 days. So because we're like, I got to where a yard is a yard. If you know how to walk it, we do a grid pattern. Um, so it's easy to train on, but you just got to spend at least those 2 days just kind of we get a lot of people that apply and their mindset is like it's scoop and poop. How hard can it be? And then
Yeah.
those end up being like the worst people because they got to understand there is a little bit of way that we have to do it. There's methods you have to follow because it's just people are paying for this. So you miss like one pile and they're going to
Yeah,
complain. They want us to
you're
come
gonna hear
back.
about it. Yeah.
Dude, some people are crazy about it. Like we'll go get 60 piles out of somebody's yard that's been there for a week, and we'll get 60 out of 61, and they like lose their mind over it.
Oh yeah.
It's the weirdest thing, but I'm like, oh, I'll just I'll send the guy back. Like they act like they do it on purpose. Like our guy's missing on purpose. And I'm like, he got 60 piles, he missed one, like it was a complete accident. We're just using the human eye to find these things in
Yeah.
grass with shadows and leaves and twigs, and
Yeah.
they have to move to the yard, efficiently to get it to the next one. So, but some people are kind of crazy about it.
Oh man. Yeah,
So
we
so it's
I
really
see
just
that.
like showing them the grid pattern that they have to do.
Yeah.
Um, Make sure that they close gates. That's probably our biggest thing is making sure that you close the gate. Um,
Have you had a pooch run out yet with
no,
a gate that didn't
I've
get
been
closed all the
been
way?
very lucky. Yeah, no.
And we had that happen window cleaning where we left a gate open and trying to like chase and actually we were questioning whether we left it open because like the kids were running around
Hmm.
and we think the kids actually did it, but like is the contractor, you always get blamed for anything that's left, like anything that's missing, anything that
Yeah,
was out of place. It's like, yeah, I saw your kids playing with it. We didn't go over there,
exactly.
but
Yeah.
I get
And
it,
it's
right?
it's worse for us because being the dog poop people, we get blamed for it. So like we haven't done it, but we've been blamed for it a lot. And then, we take pictures of every gate. And so I've always been able to send it to them, but I'm like, it's always the lawn guys, the pool guy, it's someone else because they're not thinking about dogs. They don't even know if you
Yep,
have dogs, so they forget about it. And
yep.
that's what frustrates me is I'm like, your dog is our number one,
Yeah, this
business.
is
And
all we
so,
do. Your dog is our
yeah,
customer. You're not even
yeah,
our customer. You're just the
right,
one that
yeah.
pays the bill. Your dog is our
I'm like,
customer.
so especially me because I'm like, if anybody's gonna leave your gate open, it's not gonna be us, but we're the first ones to get blamed for it.
Oh yeah,
And so I'm always like, not a lot, but when it happens, I just send them a text and a picture of their gate. I'm like, well, this is how it looked when we left. And then they're
yeah,
like, oh, then it was the long guy. I'll call them. I'm like, yeah, I already knew that. I just have to go through this with you. 'Cause I'm not
yep, yep.
gonna.
Just got to
But
show
now
you.
the CRM that we use now has helped out because it's set up now where we take a picture and it goes straight to their phone. So
What I
it's
was going to
been
ask you, what CRM are you guys using?
it's called Sweep and Go.
Okay,
It was created just specifically for our industry. It's like
nice.
Jobber, but for pooper scoopers.
Yeah,
So they can add information of their dogs, the dog's birthday, the name, a picture of the dog, info about their yard. Um, it'll send the on the way text for us. The guys just hit a button that says on the way, and then they choose 10 or 15 minutes. And then they
nice.
they start the job when they get there. And then when they're done, they'll take a picture of the gate and complete it. And it tracks
Yeah.
it all for us, shows us how long they were there and all of that.
I was to say
So
the like I've used a lot of CRMs in between maid service businesses and window cleaning companies and all that, and we see them all in the bookkeeping world because we're going in and grabbing data. And
mhm.
man, like I gotta imagine the routing capabilities of the CRM that you use are pretty critical to to be
Yeah.
like map out an efficient route in there and get somebody through what you said, like 50 some jobs in a day sometimes.
Yeah.
So
Yeah, I've looked at Jobber, like House Call Pro, and Service Autopilot and all that, but they're all really good, but the main thing about Swoop and Go is just the routing. The routing's amazing. It's
yeah,
the
it's
best
gotta
one that
be.
we've used. It keeps it very efficient.
Yeah. And we ran into that with maid service and we were doing 5 to 6 houses a day. And window cleaning, our trucks will do maybe 4 or 5 jobs a day, but we have 15 vans running around, and so like you got a lot to route. But even in that case, like and I don't want to dog on any CRMs, but we were on service autopilot for a while, and they had automations and things you could pay for to try to improve the routing. But it was a lot of
Mhm.
looking at a map and being like boop 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 boop,
Yeah,
and
that's what. Yeah, I remember that.
take us like 2 hours a day to route all of our jobs. And granted, we had 7 locations and 100 employees we were trying to like route. So a lot of like moving parts. We ended up switching to Service Monster, and they have a color wheel map. And so it's like purple jobs go with purple jobs. And man,
Hmm.
what took us like 2 hours got down to like maybe 20 minutes to route everything. I mean, it was like
Nice.
crazy, but I like that's in a business with way fewer routes than what you're dealing with. Like
Right. Yeah, Swoop and Go is
it's
like I work. I got an office manager now, but even before that, when it was just me and then technicians doing it, it was like I'd work like 2 or 3 hours a week just because Sweep and Goes just does it all. It's like
yeah.
a client signs up. they have a thing called a client planner. So when they sign up, they do the onboarding form, so it gets their address and all that, and how often they want service. I hit the client planner. It pulls up the map and it shows me, any client that's around them is you hover over, it shows what day that we're there and what technician is there. So I
Yeah.
literally just choose the day, choose the technician,
Boop
hit
it.
submit,
Heck
and then
yeah.
it every night after midnight it optimizes the route. The tech wakes up in the morning and they just follow a list.
Oh, hell yeah.
And so I never have to worry about it again. They put a card on
Nice.
file, it auto charges, and it's very streamlined.
What's I got employee questions and pet questions. Do you guys end up like interacting with the dogs a lot? Like, are they out cruising around the yard and you're like,
Not a
it's
whole
like, hey,
lot.
don't work here if you got dog allergies, you know?
Yeah. Um, yeah, not a whole lot. So that's another thing is like I'll have people apply, and it's funny because it's like everybody says the same thing. Ask them like, what interested you in this job? Scoop
I
and
love
poop, and they're
dogs.
like, I like dogs. That's what everybody says, and I'm like, well, you're out of 150 yards that you're going to do a week, you might see two dogs. We
Yeah,
don't mind if dogs are out. Like we're totally cool with it, but the customer's mindset is they need to bring their dog in so we can do work. And
yeah,
of course, we don't care, but we're not going to like tell them not to do that. It does make it a little
yeah.
harder, but we don't mind at all if they're out. But yeah, they might see like I I've had clients. I tell a lot of guys like this when they're starting on, when they ask about dogs or even like talking to clients. And I'm like, I've had some of my clients for 5 or 6 years now, and I have no idea what they look like or their dog looks like. Like we've never interacted with the human or the dog. We literally have gone there every single week. We've been charging their card for months, for every month for years.
We know they got
And
dogs because there's poop every time we go there.
yeah, and it's not human poop. Some people say like, "What if it's them?" Like, no, it's dogs. But yeah, it's like it's just so simple. We just go in and clean it up and take a picture and we leave, and we're just running through it. And so when they say stuff like the dogs, I'm like, and what's funny is I'll tell them that, and they're like, "Oh, well, I don't really care. I was just saying that because I figured that's what you wanted me to say." And those are the guys
Yeah,
I like. When they start being real with you like that, I'm like, "Okay, cool."
yeah,
And then I just make sure that like and everybody says, I'm not scared of dogs or whatever, and so that's the other thing I kind of hit on is like of course I don't want people that are scared of dogs, but I want people that have a healthy fear of dogs.
yeah,
I want you to be able to know when to get out. I don't want you to be like, dog's trying to eat you and you're still trying to let it smell you and then you get attacked and I
yeah.
get sued. So I do that in the interview process. Like, you're not gonna see dogs a whole lot. And they say they're not
But if
scared of
you do,
dogs. I'm
you got
like,
to know what they're thinking. Like their
yeah, I'm
body
like,
language will tell you. You got to know a dog's body language.
yeah, 'cause I don't want you to immediately like hit a dog and I don't want you to immediately go jump over the fence. I need you to be able to read it and figure out what you need to do.
Yeah, yeah. Um,
So
what is the weirdest interaction you've had so far with like an employee and a pet? I guess. Well, has anybody else tracked dog shit through somebody's house yet, or are you just holding the record for
just
that?
me. Yeah. Um,
It
I
seems
haven't
inevitable though. Like people got to be stepping in shit, right? It seems
yeah,
inevitable. You're gonna have people walking around with some poop on their shoes here and there.
yeah, the new guys usually do. Once you get good at it, it just doesn't
You
happen
know,
anymore.
you know where the
Um,
landmines are. You know what you're
yeah,
looking for.
yeah, you got an eye for it. The main thing is like they're walking a yard, they think they missed something, they'll walk backwards to check it, and that's when they step in it. So, it's weird you have to train people this, but it's kind of one of the things I tell people when they're starting out is like, just don't walk backwards. If you think you missed something, turn around, like
Turn
do a little
around.
spin and check. Like don't walk backwards and you won't step in it. And that usually helps out. But yeah, we clean our stuff really well. So after every yard, they'll sanitize their rake and their bucket, and then we have a little, like one of those little Home Depot sprayers with a little pump spray on top of it, little handheld
Oh
one.
yeah, yeah.
We put a water bleach mixture in that, so they hit the little jet sitting on that, and they do get people in shoes. We have them clean it off after every yard.
There you go.
I don't want to track any dog diseases around.
Yeah. Do you So as a outdoorsman, there's a game eye. Like some people are just way better at spotting wild animals. They just see
Hmm.
movement better and they're like, there's one, there's one. Uh Golf, some people are really good at judging distances. Window cleaning, some people can see streaks and some people can't. Like we
Yeah,
used to train people to try to see streaks and we're like, Jimmy can't see it. Like
right.
everybody else can see it, but this dude can't see a streak on a piece of glass. Do you have employees where you're like, Billy, man, that guy can spot poop from a mile away. He'll see a pile before anybody else sees. Like, is there a skill in seeing poop? Do you find there's a like a Hall of Fame dude on your team,
Uh,
that guy can see poop with his eyes closed. He just knows where it's at.
Actually, everybody says that's me. I don't have anybody like they haven't been doing it long enough or done enough yards to have it, I guess. But I mean, at one point, I was doing 200 yards a week when I was just solo,
You got the
and
poop eye, man. You know,
yeah, just I didn't try to. It just came up to, I'll be out
yeah.
with my wife. We're
Right.
like walking through the park or, walking through town or something. And I'm like, oh, there's poop. Oh, there's poop. And she's like, how do you even see that? I'm like, my eyes just gravitate to
Yeah, I
it.
just know. I just
I
know.
just, yeah, just a little detection goes off.
I
uh,
was back in the day. I was laughing about that with one of my business partners because we had window cleaning business and maid service businesses, and I was like, Mike, how do you find that every time you walk into a house, you start looking at all their windows and counting the panes and looking for streaks and like judging the cleanliness of their windows and how long it would take to clean them? He's like, yeah,
yeah.
dude, you can't get it out of your head. And when I started a maid service back in 2016, and I was out cleaning houses and scrubbing toilets, and I was like, man, when I walk into somebody's house now, and I don't have this anymore because I don't do it every day. But if I walked into somebody's house, I very quickly you could have blindfolded me and I could have made my way around because you get so used to moving around stuff and where
Hmm.
things are. Um, and I would like assess everything in terms of what it would take to clean it. Like, oh, we'd have to clean this with that, or we'd have to clean this with that, or oh man, that would be a bitch. And oh man, look at those knickknacks. I won't be touching those. Like everything just put you in
Yeah.
the mindset of like, how would I clean this space?
Right.
You just
That's
can't get it out
funny.
of your system. You can't get it out of the system. But I always
I
said, like,
didn't,
man, if there was a house that I had cleaned a half dozen times, you could blindfold me. I'd walk through that house, no problem. Like,
yeah.
you get so familiar with every like thing and how to move around it, which kind of like not stepping in poop. You just get familiar with how to like work around a space without
Hmm.
doing an oops.
Yeah. And clients' yards, like there were times where I'd be training somebody and I'd be talking about a yard and I could literally just explain to them exactly how the yard is, where to walk, where not to walk, the pools. And they're like, how do you remember all this? I'm like, because I've done their yard every single week for the last 3 years. Like
I
I
know
know their
where
yard
stuff
better
is in
than
their
they do.
yard that they don't. Yeah, yeah. It's like
Yeah.
I'm more intimate with their space than they are. Do you find certain pets have like certain spots where they poop? Like you go into a client's yard and you're like, yeah, I know exactly where this dog poops. It always
That's
poops over here.
that's the other thing a lot of people like expect. Like the guys I interviewed today, they all brought that up. Well, yeah, I'm sure you get faster, you figure out where they poop at. I'm like, my experience, like most dogs just poop wherever they want all over the place.
They're random.
I have one. His name's Charles. He's a Boston Terrier, and he poops in the corner of the yard in the same spot. Like he will literally have a pile that's like as tall as he is. He just backs up and
He
unloads on
backs
this
up
one
to it.
pile. And
Yeah.
he doesn't poop anywhere else. We literally go there, and she pays us to just go there, and we go scoop up his little pile, and
Dude,
then we
that's the
leave.
best job, man. That's
She's
the
like, "You
best
don't even have
job.
to walk my yard. He only goes right there." So we're like,
Got
"Cool."
them trained
And
in.
and he just does it all on his own. He just fills up that one pile. So
My
everybody gets
my
kicked out
buddy
of it when I get a new guy.
my buddy Duke always has Labradors, and he has enough acreage where he's got like tall grass on his property, and so he teaches like. And since I've known him, he's gone through a few labs, but he always teaches them to go in the weeds. So his dogs run out to poop, and they always go like he's got them trained to always go poop in the tall grass, so he never has to pick up dog
Right.
poop. He's got it figured out. He's got it super efficient.
Yeah.
Um, now? Like, I imagine you still do run into customers every once in a while, and I gotta imagine just like running maid services or window cleaners, you get some doozies every once in a while. Like you said, there's 61 piles of poop, and we got 60. But they throw a fit about it. What's the
Mhm.
weirdest like client interaction you guys have had so far?
Um, it's usually just like that, just people being crazy about the missed files. We had one lady that it was back when I was scooping, years ago, and she would be home every single time I was there. She had two Shar-Peis that would be in the backyard, literally trying to eat me. And I would do her whole yard walking backwards and using my rake and my bucket to hold them away from me, and then scooping up piles that I saw as I did it. And
Yeah.
then she would literally like there were times I saw her look into the window watching it and would not bring them inside. And then 10 minutes after I would leave, she would text me pictures of poop that I missed. And I'm just like, dude, like,
Like those
I
are
can't
fresh.
get it. I'm like fighting your dogs. Like, how do you expect me to see every single pile? Um, so I guess, yeah, that's what reminded me. So the craziest one that I had, I still get angry when I think about it, but we had this, I had
Sorry,
one of my,
I didn't mean to trigger you.
yeah, no, I just like, I get all hot just thinking about it. This guy
Yeah.
was, he had to be crazy, or I'm thinking nobody can really be this nuts. So I'm thinking he was just terrified of his wife and she told him to cancel the service and he forgot to. And he just
Oh,
went down
Jesus.
this crazy thing to just, dude, it was nuts. So I, um, I had a technician in Saginaw and he's running a route. And I just happened to be like 2 blocks away. And he calls me and he's like, you could tell he was upset. And he's like, I don't know what to do. And I was like, "What's going on?" And he goes, "I just left so and so's house." Like, he's like, I'm going to the roundabout, like right past their house." And he was like, "He just called me and told me that I never scooped his yard, that I just sat in the car the whole time and never even got out of the yard, and he's canceling service and doesn't want to pay for it." And I was like, "That's weird." And I, he's an employee. I don't know him like on a personal level. So I'm
Yeah.
like, either the client's kind of, lying, or their cameras glitching out, It happened a lot to me where clients would tell me I didn't scoop their yard and I'd say, just go tell me if I missed any piles. And they go see there's no poop in their yard, and it ended up being that their cameras just didn't pick me up. I'm
Yeah.
back there for a couple minutes, and so I figured it was that, or maybe he's lying. And so I didn't say anything to him. I was like blocks away, and I was like, I'll call the client, I'll talk to him. You just go to your next house. And I'm like, all right, I'm gonna catch somebody, in something. So I
I'm
like
going to look
go,
at this
I'm,
yard.
yeah, dude. I just do a U-turn and fly to this house. I got there literally like 2 minutes later, and I pull up and I could see the guy had cameras on his eaves, and and I could tell he wasn't home. So I was like, okay, he's going off cameras. Probably didn't catch the guy. So I go walking into the backyard, and I didn't even take my tools with me. I just jumped out, went straight to the backyard, and this guy's got 4 dogs. Had us going out there once a week, probably like 70 or 80 piles every time we go out there. They were huskies, and I think like one pit bull, and they produce a lot of waste. And so I,
They eat
I
a
go
lot.
back there and I look right at the camera. I make sure the camera's looking straight at his backyard, and I walk the entire yard, and there's not one pile in his yard. And so I'm like kind of exaggerating it. I'm like, we're good. Like there's no poop here. It's clean. And
Yeah.
so I just go back down and tell the guy, I was like, hey, just want to let you know, he cleaned your yard. Maybe your camera didn't pick him up, but I just checked it. There's no poop in your yard. And he sends me a text, and he's like, just like, cameras don't lie. Your tech didn't clean my yard. And I'm like, I said, did you see me on the camera just now? And he goes, yeah, I could see you there, but I didn't see him. And I was like, well, there's no poop in your yard. I was like,
Yeah.
did you clean your yard? He said, no. I said, did you see anybody else in your yard? He said, no. I said, well, then my technician cleans your yard. There's no poop in your yard. And he's just like, cameras don't lie. And he kept going off about that. And then he's wanted like, he's like, I'll send you the camera footage. I was like, you're just gonna send me footage of your backyard with nobody in it.
Yeah.
Because you're saying
Yeah.
he didn't come, your camera didn't catch him. And I should have like let it go, but I sat there for probably 20 30 minutes arguing with this guy. And I was like, your neighbors didn't do it. There's no such thing as a poop fairy, it doesn't just disappear. And I
Yeah.
said, I said, have you cleaned your yard in the last week? And he's like, well, no, that's what I pay y'all for. I said, well, sir, there's
So
no
your
poop
yard
in
is
your yard.
clean. So whoever cleaned it, you're paying us for it because it's most likely us that
Yeah.
cleaned it.
Yeah. And I said, did you see me pick up anything when I was back there? He said, No. And I said, okay, so when you get home this evening, go see if there's any poop in your yard. Because you didn't see my guy doing it. I didn't pick it up. And he just would not let that go. I was like, it's probably the craziest person I had, the way he just he's probably saying other stuff too. I can't remember now, but he kept going back to that, cameras don't lie thing. And I'm like, and now, thinking back on it, I wanted to be like, I wanted to go back and be like, well, people do, and
Yeah.
you're lying, I'm like, he had to have just had some argument with his wife or something, and he was supposed to cancel it, and he didn't, and he did not want a charge to come out of his bank account.
I was gonna say it's easier to argue with you guys than to argue with his wife.
Yeah.
So that was
So,
the path he chose. I have I don't run into that in bookkeeping too often. We deal with some like husband and wives, but like usually one of them, like if they hired us, it's because neither one of them wanted to do it, and then it's one of them especially doesn't care at all about bookkeeping, and so usually we only really have one main point of contact. We don't get any contention. Um,
yeah.
but man, in like maid service and window cleaning, you would end up playing like middleman. You felt like you were a marriage counselor sometime because
Yeah.
one wanted it this way and one wanted it that way, and they wouldn't. And I'm like very conscious of it now. Like we have a maid service, and they're actually coming to like clean tomorrow. And there's definitely times where my wife and I aren't on the same page, and I'm like, I'm so sorry that you guys are stuck in the middle of this. And my wife told you that, and I didn't know you that she told you that, and I'm trying to tell you this, right? Like, it sucks when the spouses aren't communicating
Yeah.
and you're in the middle of it. You're just like, man, I don't want to have to deal with your domestic crap. Like, you guys
Yeah.
get your shit together and talk to each other and stop trying to like blame us for your lack of communication. I don't know how to
Yeah.
tell you that, but you guys need to work on your marriage while I'm working on your windows. Like,
Yeah.
I don't know
Well,
an
I'm
easy
working
way
on
to
your
let you down
windows.
here. Like, you guys work on your
Yeah.
marriage, I'll work on your windows.
We
But
deal with that
man, it's
too,
always
and
unhelpful.
it's frustrating when it's the husband. We've had quite a few times where like it's usually the lady that signs up, wife usually signs up for service because he won't do it and she's been asking him to. And then so she like hires us and he doesn't agree with it and he'll literally nitpick everything. It's the frustrating ones. We'll go out there and then the husband's like he doesn't he's like, "Oh, I can't believe she's paying for someone to clean the yard." And he'll literally go out there with like a white glove, making sure that every single speck was picked up. And if we miss like we've had with this one client in Alito, like the size of your pinky nail, it must have just broken off of a turd, like just broke off
Yeah.
when we raked it up. And he wanted my guy to come back and get that one piece. And I'm like, the only reason why
Man,
he's doing this is
that's
because he
soil.
doesn't
That's
like
called
that his
dirt.
wife did it. Yeah.
Yeah, it's called
Oh,
dirt now.
I had a lady one time had me come back for charcoal, and I'm there. She's in the backyard pointing them out to me, and I'm like, "Man, this is charcoal." And she's like, "Well, it looks like poop to me." And I'm just like, "Whoa, I don't." I'm
Here,
like, I don't know what to do.
let
I'm
me
just
pick it up and hold it in front of your nose and take a
yeah.
whiff of it. And you tell me if that's poop or not.
Or people getting their yards aerated. That's another frustrating thing that happens with us is like the season when the aerating comes around,
Yeah,
we have people that will like literally send us a picture and they're like, "Your guy just came here and there's hundreds of piles still in my yard." I'm like, "You've never had hundreds of piles in your yard for years.
yeah,
Why do you all of a sudden think that we missed 100 piles?" And I had a
yeah,
lady like she argued with me about this was early on when I first started. I didn't even know what the aerating was either. And she was arguing with me, and I was like, "I didn't miss any poop in your yard. Like, I just left. Like, it's not. You have two German shepherds." And so I was like, her husband called me. He was at work, and he's like, "My wife said that you're arguing with her about it." I was like, "I'm not trying to argue with her. I'm just telling her that like there's no poop in your yard the size of my pinky." Because she's like,
yeah,
all these little bitty turds." And so I drove back, and I like had to like pick one up, and she was like, "Ooh," and I was like, "It's dirt. Like these are
yeah,
plugs from your yard. See all these holes, like." And she's like, "Well, the guy who did this was supposed to clean all that up. So can you clean it all up?" And I was like, "No. I mean, I'm charging you $18 to clean up 20 piles of poop. I can't now clean up 200 plugs in your yard. That's like 200 piles
yeah,
of poop."
yeah. If you pay
Yeah.
me a
So
couple $100, I'll clean these all up for you, or leave them
yeah,
because it's dirt and
it's just
it's for your ground. It's for your
people are
yard.
just people are crazy. We get a lot of cool clients, but it's from window cleaning and junk removal that I've done. There is the a larger side, a larger percentage of like just some weird mindset people that sign up for the service.
Oh
We have
yeah,
a lot of like normal, cool people that are just busy, they're business owners. We get a lot of that, but there's a lot that are just like my mom, I hired her at one point. I kind of retired her from her job and she answered the phones for us for a little bit. And even there was times where she would text me and she's like, "I can't believe some of the people that I talk to." She's like, it's like all they worry about is dog food. Like they sit in their house just worrying about when you guys are gonna get there
they're
to come
watching
pick up
paint
the
dry and they're waiting for the dog poop to get picked up.
yeah.
They
And
got
she's
nothing
like,
better to do.
especially like when they have us come in like once every 2 weeks. She's like, they have poop in their yard for 13 days, and then they worry about that one day that you're coming. It's just like
Yeah, it's
it's
all they're
it's
thinking
it's
about.
weird. And yeah. And then there's other people, there's a lot of people that are like, they don't care. They're like, they don't check their yard. They're like, as long as you're coming once a week, I don't even care what day you come on, just come out once a week and just they
Come and do
understand that
your
if they
thing.
have
If you miss
yeah,
a
like
pile, get it the next time.
yeah, exactly. Yeah. Especially when they're on once a week, because like in our mind and experience, like if you're on once a week, you're like on like a minimal maintenance plan. But
Yeah,
you get the people, and it's usually the people that you can kind of tell just can't really like afford it, but they just want it. It's like that
yep,
luxury service that they can get.
yeah,
Those are
yeah.
the ones that think that their once a week is like a big deal. Like, "You guys come here once a week. I shouldn't have any poop in my yard." And it's like, the clients that say that have us come out 4 or 5 times a week.
Yeah, yeah.
Like
If you
once a
want
week is
that
like a
level of
maintenance client.
service, we'll be out here every day, and
Yeah.
here's what that'll
We have
cost.
we have clients that have us come out 6 days a week. And so I'm like, they're the ones that shouldn't have any poop in their yard. But when you're coming out 4 days out of 30, you're like on a maintenance plan. You should just let us do our thing and go.
Yeah.
And they make a huge big deal. But it's usually just the ones that have, struggled paying the invoice and
Now, if this was my least favorite, like I grew up with labs, picked up some big piles of shit in the yard. Um, what about when it rains? Like that's not fun to pick up sloppy
oh
piles of
yeah,
poop. What do you
it
do?
poured today.
What do you do when it's like a rain day? You still out there picking up poop, and then how
Mhm.
long until they solidify versus just slimy, just
It's
mush?
it takes a lot. That's another pain point is we have clients, not a lot. I'll say out of like today we did 240 yards, and I actually just made a YouTube video about this a few weeks ago. But we have one that will get the on the way text and then be like, it's raining, there's no poop in my yard, don't come. And we're like, it doesn't work that way. Like it takes a lot of like days of rain to do. Like it's not chocolate, it's not cotton candy. Like it's very dense, and
It'll
it's
still
not.
be
It's
there.
it's still in your yard, yeah. And they're like, well, this lady was like, well, if you charge me, then I'm just gonna cancel. And I'm like, it's one of those things where it's still struggle trying to figure it out. Basically, what we ended up doing, and it actually worked out, was I was like, just skip her for this was a few weeks ago, the video that I made about it, but I was like, just skip her for today, and we're not going to charge her. But then on her next visit, if there's 2 weeks worth of poop, we're going to charge her extra, and we'll just
Yeah,
tell her, hey, the rain didn't get rid of it; it was still there. And sure enough,
yeah,
it was also there. We let her know, and she paid the extra cost. So I don't know what her deal was before that, but it's just like spend a lot of time teaching people weird things about dog poop. Or like
yeah.
they'll mow their yard and they're like, well, because we would charge like a large initial fee. And they're like, oh, we just mowed the yard, so there's not gonna be a lot out there. And it's the same video that I made was about lawnmowers and rain. I'm like, the rain doesn't get rid of it, and the lawnmower doesn't make it disappear. Like it's
No,
not a vacuum and it's not a blender. People think because they run over 100 blades of grass and there's 100 clippings in the yard that they're going to run over one pile of poop and there's going to be 100 pieces of poop all over their yard. And so you spend a lot of time educating people like, no, it's going to cut it into 4 or 5 pieces or it's going to smash it. It's still there.
still
And
still a
so,
pile of poop.
yeah, those are my two things that I used to say was going to give me a heart attack at the age of 30 was
Yeah.
rain and lawnmowers because like we'll pick it up during the rain. We'll pick it up after the rain. I'll pick it up after the mowers come. I'll walk behind the mower and pick it up as he's mowing right behind him. It's still there. It
Yeah.
doesn't go away. Or
Um,
it'll stay for a year in your yard. It'll start growing, blue and orange mold on it, and it will
yeah.
literally be there 12 months, or longer.
Yeah,
I
it
mean, we've
doesn't
gone
just
we've gone to yards and picked up 50 buckets worth.
oh shit. Oh
Yep.
shit.
Yeah, and that's how
Um,
I tell people like it's rained in the last year. You've had mowers all summer, and I just got 50 buckets out of your yard. That should be your sign that the
yeah,
rain and mowers don't get rid of it.
yeah, it's still there, lady.
Yeah.
We always ran into the rain being a funny thing with window cleaning because people would be on the schedule and then it'd be raining and they'd be like, "Oh, I need to reschedule. It's raining today," and we'd be like, "No, you don't. We can
Yeah.
clean windows in the rain. In fact, like rain coming down from the sky does not make your windows dirty. Your windows look dirty after it rains because it takes all the dirt on your windows and puts it all in one spot. And then
Right.
it looks like the rain made your window dirty. But the fact was your windows were dirty, and that's why the rain made them look dirty. So we're coming. And if your windows are dirty when we leave, which maybe like the bottom windows would be if there's like mud splattering up from the rain, we'll come back and touch those up for free. Right? You have no
Right.
risk.
That's what
Like
we do too.
we're coming out. And it was just one of those things. I think this is especially in recurring services, like when they call maid service, dog poop, bookkeeping, when somebody's like coming in and wants to, is a lead, if you will, they're already ready to buy. They don't need to be sold. They just need to have good expectations. And so I
Mhm.
did find, and same with window cleaning, I did find it's not a sale, it's an expectation setting thing about here's how this goes. Here's some of the things that we need to know. Here's some of the things that you need to know. And
Mhm.
so I'm not going to try to sell you window cleaning. You know if your windows are dirty and if you want to do them or not. You don't have to use us, but if you do, here's what you need to know. And here's the things we need to know to make sure we can do a good job and execute the way we told you we would.
Yeah.
And I found like treating sales as expectation setting always went a long way because then I would just, once we had enough bad experiences of a goofy thing like that, then I just made it part of the like, oh, here's the things that's gonna suck. In bookkeeping, I'm like, yep, onboarding. If we're taking over your books and you've been doing them, your books probably suck. Onboarding is gonna be really shitty for you. Like, we're just get I'll send you the list of all the things I need to fix up. I don't know how long it's gonna take because I don't know if you didn't tell me about the 3 other dogs that you have and the
Yes. Yeah.
the whatever hidden part of your yard or whatever it is. Like, if you didn't tell me about everything, the price is gonna change, but I know this phase is going to suck. And so for both of our sakes, we got to get through it fast. So it like
Yeah.
helps call out the stuff that's going to suck. Hey, it's going to rain. Hey, you're going to mow the yard. Nothing's going to change. The poop's still going to be there. We're going to come pick it up. The price doesn't change. Our schedule doesn't change. Leave it to us. That's why you hired us.
Yeah, that's a good idea. I do need to. That you're right. I haven't really thought of it like that. Like just setting those expectations. We do that about missed files because people will get so upset thinking that the guy did it on purpose. That on the onboarding call, we do mention that like, hey, they're humans, so they might occasionally miss files. Our guys are doing 600 yards a month, and so it's
Yeah.
impossible for them to not miss something every now and then. And so if they do, just let us know. We come back out and do a full reclean for free. So that's helped that a lot. So
Mhm.
yeah, that's a good. I need to figure out a way to implement what you just said about, just in the beginning, just mention mowing, mention the rain. We come out rain or shine, it's all still there. It's a good
Yeah.
idea.
Yeah. It's just good.
No.
Like I said, it's just good. I think the same, that expectation setting strategy works the same in recruiting. Like when you're
Hmm.
hiring people, you tell them the good and the bad and the ugly, and then they can opt in. They can decide if they want the things that suck about the job, but you don't want to surprise them with the things that suck about the job. You want to be able to
Right.
say, "Hey, man, you signed up for this, right? Like you
Yeah.
signed up to because this is the job that we have, and these are the routes that we run, and here's how you get paid." I did want to ask you about that when you're running that route style business, and you've got people going all over town, and you're trying to get route density. Um, do you do you find there's people that are more productive than others? Like, does everybody go about the same speed, or are there some folks that are just like, damn, this dude flies and he doesn't miss a
Hmm.
pile, and he just like it's like he's running around the yard? Do you see big productivity differences? And then follow up question that is, do you do some sort of like pay per performance to try to reward that productivity boost?
Yeah, we're actually working on that right now. I've been using ChatGPT a lot to get some paper performance. Just now that we've gotten, seven, about to hire an eighth technician, we're getting to that point where I'm trying to figure those things out and having different personalities, different types of people.
Yeah,
That I really started to do a lot of research on the performance stuff and paying them extra for that. Because I do exactly like you just said. I have one guy, he's 26 years old and just runs circles around everybody. I have no idea how he does it. I wasn't even that fast when I mean I got pretty fast at it. Still not as fast as he does. Like I said, he's the guy that did 58 yards in 8.5 hours.
yeah,
Um, he has days where we'll have like 38 stops and it's like 11:30 and he's done. I'm like,
yeah,
how's that even possible? Like, what are you doing? But he gets no complaints. He gets more Google and they can review him through Sweep and Go from the completed text. He
yeah,
gets more reviews than any other technician, and he gets over $400 a month just in tips from clients. So I'm
yeah,
like, he's got to be doing a good job. But we haven't like we'll quality check people. I tell anybody who's doing quality checks, I'm like, leave him alone because whatever he's doing is working. I don't want to know if he's missing any because his clients love him so much. They're not checking, they don't care. Nobody's
yeah,
complaining. So we like leave that guy alone because
yeah,
he's just flying. And then we got it's like all over the board. I got one guy who's, he's 60 years old and he's still not my slowest guy. He moves at like an average pace. He's not fast. He does like I want four houses done per hour and he's four houses, sometimes five, but he's just right at it. Um, and then I got another guy that's like I say, like, four houses an hour, but then like if you do like the average, it's like 3.5, like the average what they should
yeah,
do per hour. And I
yeah,
got one guy that's like he's the guy that's probably too smart for this type of job, but he just needed something for the time being.
yeah, yeah,
That like we know he's not gonna last very long, he's just too smart for it. Not saying anything bad about other guys, but he's just, it's hard to explain. I just know like this isn't a job for him. Um, we're kind of looking at stuff and looking at numbers and all that. And like he's figured out how to kind of manipulate it to where no matter if he's got 20 jobs or he's got 30 jobs or 40 jobs, he's like taking 8 hours. And I'm like, I
Yeah.
don't know if he's smart enough to know that we're figuring it out, but he's
Yeah.
like kind of milking the clock in a way. He had like his Friday route's got 38 stops on it. It took him 8 hours exactly. And then so the next week I was like, we took 10 jobs off of him. He had 28 jobs. It took him 8 hours exactly. So I'm like, dude, this guy's
I
like
don't.
hurrying when he's got a lot and he's slowing down when he doesn't have a lot.
So one of the reasons I love paper performance, we were talking about it on my radio show earlier today, and I even have my bookkeepers and account managers in this business on Best Damn Bookkeeping on paper performance. It's a little different for us based on our billing cycle, but window cleaning, maid service, lawn care, holiday lights, whatever it is, I'm always a huge advocate of paper performance because of exactly what you just said. That's just a human tendency. I don't think it's his nature, but if I give a window cleaner a $500 route, they'll make it take all day. If I give them $1,000 route, they'll get it done in the same amount of time. Like
Hmm.
they work
Yeah.
like a freaking like they're gas in a chamber. They will fill up the whole thing. There's a tipping point of how fast they can go, but I think paper performance is great because if they get a $500 done, if they get it done by 11, they're done at 11, right? They might ask for more work because they're like, hey, I want to make more money. Give me more work, right? Or they might do it. We have Brent on our team. He's pushing. I think he's 50 now, and he's still our fastest window cleaner and power washer. By himself last year, he did 200,000 of revenue. Like we don't have any,
Man.
and we only in Minnesota, we only are really working 8 months out of the year. So in 8 months, he did $200,000 of revenue by himself. Um,
Wow.
and he's 50, right? Like the young dude should be running around him, but he's just so productive. He doesn't waste a movement. It's like, and we're using mostly ladders. So it's like he's going up, mopping squeegee, and he'll clean 3 windows at a time while he's up there. And he's not a big dude. It's not like he's got a tremendous wingspan. He just knows exactly where to position the ladder. And it's like, man, and he even showed me, he trained me how to clean windows back in the day. And he's like, I use the same movement to take my last step off the ladder as I do to grab the ladder off the house. Like he had it so
He's got down a
scientifically down
system. Yeah.
to not waste a movement. Um, and I was cleaning windows with him, and he was in the back of the house, and I was like, oh, I forgot this in the truck. And like, I don't walk slow. In fact, I ran around the house. Like I'm not walking, I'm jogging if I'm like at a job site. Man, Brent cleaned 2/3 of that house, right? And I'm the owner and I'm working my ass off. And Brent makes it look so easy, but he never had to go back to the truck. He knew exactly what he needed, where he needed it. Like he would do his walk around and he had it all figured out in his head. It was like Neo reading the freaking Matrix. It just all made
Right.
sense to him. And some people just have that knack of they know how to move around. But again, back to paper performance, when everybody wins together and the only incentive is to get it done right and get it done fast, then that like 28 jobs taking all day just goes away because there's no when you're done and you make the same amount of money either way, well then why not be done at noon instead of at 5, right? Or you get done
Right.
at noon and you're like, hey Justin, give me a few more jobs, dude. Like let me get my paycheck a little bit higher. um
Right.
the only downside that I've ever seen to paper performance, but it's really easy to solve, is that people might rush because they're trying to
Hmm.
get more done in a day. And that's all fine and dandy until they have a callback. And then they realize it's basically they're doing that callback for free because their pay is commission based and you're not charging revenue on a callback. So they don't get paid anything realistically.
Right.
And like that happens. We had a guy named Renee, young dude, super hustler, but he would skip windows. And we all knew he was skipping some windows. And one time we got this call back and it was at 4 o'clock and he had plans with his buddies and he had just finished his last job of the day, but it was 45 minutes away. And he got back to the office and I had just gotten the call from Mrs. Jones, who's like, hey, it's pretty clear he skipped some windows. Like, we got a party this weekend. We got to get these windows done. And Renee came walking in like all pumped up and I was like, bud, you skip some windows, you got to go back. It took him an hour and 15 minutes just to get back there in like rush hour traffic. He probably wasn't done till 7 o'clock that night. That's the moment where they either quit or they never skip another window again. It's like
Yeah.
you go through it. You shit or get off the pot. Like that's about the time to figure it out. And he got better, but he eventually quit because he didn't like that. Like he couldn't uphold the quality and speed. And you
Right.
got to be able to do both. Like you got to be
I've been
fast and good. You can't be one or the other.
Yeah, I've been looking at that a lot. My buddy does that. We're in the same area. He pays all of his guys like 30% commission per
Yeah.
job. And same thing, if they have to go back, they don't get paid for it. Um, kind of my difficulty with that is like I was like, how do you make them go back? You know, if they're not getting paid for it and they just were like, no, I'm not gonna go back there. I'm not getting paid anything for it. I'm like, you know, if you don't want to fire somebody right then have to hire, like how do you make them go back if you're doing that?
I
It's
do.
kind of
So here's I think when you're in that position and as you're scaling, and I've gotten good at it in this business. I've screwed it up in so many businesses. But we're a year and a half into Best Damn Bookkeeping, and I just hired employee number 18. We got number 19 coming. So like a year and a half is just like as
wow.
fast as we can get people going. I have a wait list of employees. And so I will fire somebody
Wow.
immediately because I know who I'm going to call next, and I'm in constant communication with them. So they already know I'm thinking about hiring them, and I'm hiring them for growth. But if I have to hire them for a replacement, that's what I got to do too. And so
Yeah.
once, and this isn't like a threat to our team, but I think it's a good this is a good analogy, which is if your starters look over at the bench and there's nobody on the bench, how hard are they going to practice? How hard are they going to play? Right? There's nobody to take their starting spot. But if they look over at the bench and they see a bunch of super hungry people sitting over there that really want their job,
Hmm.
they're way more likely to work hard. And when they see one of the other starters get fired and somebody brought off of that bench, all of a sudden they're like, oh shit, Justin ain't messing around.
Yeah.
Like if we don't go back and do that thing, we out of here. And hey, I like what, especially when you're making performance-based pay, you're like, hey, I like this job. I have tons of freedom. I get all the upside, right? I get to go knock it out. And when I'm done, I'm done. I don't want to lose this job, right? Like if I got to go back out, I got to go back out. Like got to get better, right? And so it like naturally weeds out people that have that like I ain't going back out there.
Right.
They're
That's true.
gone because you can replace them immediately. Hold on, we got a co-host coming in. Rob Anderson is in the house. What's
I'm in
up,
my
Rob?
house. My house.
He's in a house. He's in. Hey, I got this. We got some comments coming in here from this Rob Anderson guy. I meant to get to him. Rob said, "Hey fellas, I don't know what the hashtag stud was. I don't remember when you typed that.
You're 200K guy.
Oh yeah, Brent. He's a machine. Yeah, he is the Michael Jordan on our team. And actually, Rob, you hit it on the head with this. What sucks is that when that guy attempts to teach it, it's hard for other people to replicate it because it's not innate. Like people
Yeah.
don't know. Now we have like really good producers, but just like me, I can't move like Brent does. He's been doing it for 15 years. I just have to run. I have to run up the hill back to the truck. That's my strategy to try to keep up. It's like I'm running around the job site. Like Brent just can be so surgical in it, like you said, Rob. But we actually found he couldn't train people.
Yep.
Like, we tried to get him to train people because he's so productive, but it's like it's so up here. Like part of it was we had to get better systems and processes, but he doesn't have the skills to train people on it because it's just so ingrained in the way he moves around. He can't even describe it to people. He like tells them, but it doesn't like sink in. So we actually don't have him train a lot of people.
Well, and that's
That's why
sort of the
I
hard
don't
part
train
though, is like
anymore either.
they know what to do and you see it differently.
Mm-hmm.
Hmm.
You know, and we've interviewed a couple of people recently when their comment from a manager standpoint was like realizing that like as a manager, and probably as this guy or owner, you see a much wider field of vision of like the whole environment, and they're looking way more narrowly focused. And so they just see total house, I got to do this, instead of like seeing those things, which is where it's been hard for me to replicate like sales and pricing. I mean,
Yeah,
I'm taking a different.
you go out there and you've seen everything, and you're like, boop,
Yeah.
boop, 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 boop.
Yeah, it's all the accountant math going, doing a beautiful mind in my head.
And like some formulas coming down, and every once in a while of stray bourbon or a stray beer coming down.
Yep.
Justin, what you said you were doing some chat GPT and on paper performance. Like, what have you found? You said your buddy does 30%. What in your mind, what's the right number? Do you have a number that you're like thinking about or moving towards?
I've been struggling with that because like ChatGPT would even say, and some of the big franchises would do like 22%, which I feel like that's too low. But I still feel like 30% is too high. So I've thought about like doing like 25%. I don't know, I've been messing with it. So like in Sweep and Go, I pay all my guys through QuickBooks, tracks their hours, when they clock in and out with Sweep and Go, so I do that. But in Sweep and Go, it has a payroll section as well. So I've been kind of messing with that, and I'll put them on like a percentage pay,
Mhm.
25% or 28%, and then I've been making an Excel sheet with it the last month, um, just tracking on what they made hourly and what they would have
Mhm.
made if they were on that percentage, because
Yep.
I don't want to do so much that it hurts the business, but I don't want to do too little that it hurts them. So I'm
Yep.
trying to find that happy number that works good for both of us.
Justin, so if they kick ass that week, like what's the bonus opportunities?
That's another thing I'm working on. I made a sheet the other day that had it on there. So I was doing like, if they just do what they're supposed to do, like, sending the picture of the gate, sending it on the way text, not getting complaints. I had it set up where they would get, and it sounds low, but I had it set up where they would get basically like a $5 bonus for each day that they work, that they just basically do what they're supposed to do. And then,
Yeah.
basically if they get every single day, then I had it set up where I would double that. So if you get all 5 days, you do
Perfect
everything you're
week.
supposed to do, you hit that 5 perfect week, then I would double it. So you could get $50 for the week instead of $25 bonus. And $200 for the month instead of 100. I was even thinking if they go all month, doing everything they're supposed to do, then we could double that. They get $400 bonus for the month. It's a whole different, I don't want to say anything bad about employees in case anyone will watch your thing, but it's just the the people that I would hire doing junk removal or window cleaning was way different than people I even have apply for this job. I mean,
Yep.
I did it for a long time, but I did it knowing what I was building it into. Um, they're doing it as a job with they don't know what else they're going to do. And so, like, I've had guys that are 30 years old that can't read. I just had a fire guy that he was 28 years old and went through 15 wrong houses in a week. He literally wasn't looking at the address. He was just going to random houses on the same street, but just going to random house. And I'm just like, it's so hard to find people. So
But
I'm like,
yeah, I
getting
didn't
them
think
to
I had
I
to
would,
put
Imagine.
that. I didn't have to put that in the training manual was to go
Yeah,
to
but
the
yeah, I
that's
had no idea.
that's the stuff that Justin, you're literally like thinking how okay, were you under the influence? Like what on earth is going wrong? And
Yeah,
like those are those things that like we take for granted. Like here's addresses, click on this and go to that house. Like,
right.
It'll be
but
the one. It'll be the one with the dogs.
Yeah,
Tell
so
them, by the way, there's poop in the yard.
yeah, yeah, man. There was no poop to clean up. Well, because you went to the wrong house, Jimmy.
yeah, he did that. He actually told us he goes, yeah, there was a few houses that I did the other day that didn't have any poop, but he never said anything to us. Never told us anything. I
Yeah,
had no idea. So I'm like, there's a couple of clients that didn't get service at all this week. That they're the cool ones that don't check their yard. They have no idea they're gonna get charged. I don't know who they
yeah.
are. Because this guy just was like, oh, cool, perfect yard, and then just left. I'm like, what are you? I don't know how you
You,
can even think that way.
There's no poop in this
Yeah,
front yard. Yeah, because the dogs are in the back fenced-in area.
yeah. That would have been funny if he did a few like front yards. I thought it was just
Yeah.
the front yard only.
yeah, looked all good to me, man.
uh, But yeah, he
So
tried to use the excuse that like the GPS was taking him to the wrong house. So I told him, like I tell everybody else, I'm like, don't use your GPS. Go off the Sweep and Go and the address on the house. Use your
yep,
GPS to get to the street and then find the address. And he still kept getting calls. Like every day he's just getting calls. I just got a picture of my gate, but that's not my gate. And we'd have to send him back. And then I was finally
I
like,
got a
we don't
picture of
have
my
this.
gate, but it's not my gate.
Yeah.
That's
And I was
awesome.
like, I told my office manager, I said, we don't have this many, geolocations that are off. So I started adding stops to like, a route on my phone, added the stops to it. And I did Google Maps, Apple Maps, and Waze, and they all sent me to the right house. That's when I was like, this dude is just going to random houses. So we just called him in when he was done that day and was like, sorry, dude, but you got to go.
The same for you, man. Finding
Yeah.
houses is not a skill set of yours, and we didn't actually build that into our training, so we can't hire you anymore.
Yeah, I don't know how to train for that. I was like, I can use speed comes with time. You know, getting an eye for what you're looking at comes with time, but I don't know how to train someone to go to the right address. And just
Yeah, there's just certain things you just got to have before you get here, dude. One of
yeah.
them is how to use your Google Maps.
Attention to 5 numbers. I need you to just pay attention to those 5 numbers. Find them
Right.
on the property. Like that's
Yeah.
insane.
I mean, I get guys that we add on one like when I found out when Sweeping got released, being able to send a picture of the gate, I thought that was amazing. Like now we're not going to get blamed for it anymore. We always know that a gate's closed, and I tell all the guys, "Hey, I need you to start taking pictures of the gate." They're like a bunch of like 13-year-olds. They complain like, "Oh, we got to do something else," and I'm like, I just want to shake them. Like you're picking up dog poop. This is the easiest job you'll ever have, and I'm asking you to
Yeah.
send a picture of a gate, and they like get all bent out of shape about it and complain, and I'm just like, it's
It,
irritating.
Pretend like you're taking a selfie. Take a selfie with the gate.
Yeah.
Like make
Right.
it
Yeah.
fun.
Yeah. There you go. I've been
Best selfie
told
gets
from
a
other,
$50 bonus.
yeah, I've been told by buddies that are in the business in other states, like I got a guy in Washington, and they all say the same thing. It's like the only way to get better people is you're gonna have to pay more. You're gonna have to pay, $22, $23 an hour. But I'm like, that's so hard to pay that much for scooping poop. And then how do I know? Like, what if I get the same kind of guy that I have right now at $23 an hour?
Oh, and you will, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
But I think that's where pay per performance helps, because then you will get people that can make more money, right? Like your one dude will make a shitload more money than everybody else. Pun not intended, but we can take it that way. And then you start attracting, like when you're hiring people and they know that's how they get paid, then you attract people that want to be productive, right? Because the conundrum of hourly pay is you don't charge your clients hourly, right? So you have all the risk, and the technician's incentive is only to make things take longer. They only make more money if it takes longer. They have no incentive to go faster when they're paid hourly, and so you have a risk and a disconnect between. Now, if you charge your clients by the hour, then you don't have risk, but now Mrs. Jones has the risk, right? And so it's like, who has the risk? You can either charge your clients hourly and pay your employees hourly, so your employee doesn't have risk, you don't have risk, but now the client has it, which is hard to sell because the client doesn't want the risk. You can charge your client a fixed rate, pay your employee hourly, but now you have the risk, right? Which that sucks because it messes with your cost of goods sold. And as a nerdy bookkeeper, it messes with your gross margin, and I don't like my gross margin messed with.
Right.
And so the best thing I found is you pass the risk to the employee, because then you tend to attract employees that want that risk. Like, yeah, give me the ball. Like, I want the ball in the fourth quarter. I don't want to make hourly money because I don't want to get paid the same as this jackass that I work twice as hard as. I want to make twice as much as him because I work twice as hard. And so like then you start to attract the people that want the risk, and you're happy to give it, because if you pay them $1,500 for a week, you're like, hell yeah. Like, how many more jobs can I give this guy? Right. Instead of being like, oh man, I got to pay this guy a whole bunch of money and he wasn't super productive. He only did the 28 houses this week instead of the 38. And now I just ate that difference of 10 houses. And so you just tend to, like, those guys go away. That, like, you'll lose half your team when you switch to paper performance, because the guys that want to milk the clock are like, oh crap, this ain't for me, man. Every time I say crap or shit, I feel like there's a joke in there, but it's too easy.
It's been my life for 7 years.
Yeah, you're just over
I get
it.
tagged on Facebook in this little post that says the guy that's been cleaning my yard for the past year just found out that I don't have dogs. I get tagged in that so many. It's one of those things where I would say, if I had a nickel for every time someone tagged me in that, I wouldn't have a business anymore.
Yeah.
It's like all the time. And then I had back when I was scooping, I was in my truck one time. The funniest one I had, people say that all the time, like, "Oh, that must be a shitty job," or "I bet you're having a shitty day." I don't even know why I said.
You pieces of shit for
Don't cover these
breakfast.
quickly.
Actually, I
Yeah,
just pick them up and throw them away.
I pulled up next to a cop. I was just on one of those days. I usually don't like have good comebacks really quickly, or kind of like harsh ones, but I pulled up next to this police officer who's directing traffic, and he's like, "Man, I thought I had a shitty job," and I was like, "Well, at least I don't get shot at." And then he was like, "Oh, that was pretty bad." I was like, "I'm sorry." I was sort of apologizing. I'm usually not like that quick to say something back, but
I'm
like
feeling
people have
spicy
said it to
today,
me
bud.
so many, yeah, and I've heard that so many times that it was just like he said it. I was like, "At least I don't get shot at." I was like, "I'm sorry. I hope you don't get shot at." Oh, it was bad, but yeah, but I get that. I got that almost on a daily basis where like when I was out scooping wearing like the uniform, I go if I went to Walmart or Target or whatever and I got done, I would take my shirt off. Like I just wear a blank t-shirt into the store just because I didn't want to hear anybody say anything about a shitty
Yeah.
day or a shitty job. It's
Yeah.
just like
Stop
constant.
talking poop.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Done with it. Done
So,
with it.
so Justin, just a thing with performance pay is finding a way. And I know you were talking about the $5. We used to do $5 per day for just taking pictures of the jobs. Like
Hmm.
you're now a professional photographer, but it's all or nothing each day. And then we got to a point where it was like, it's all or nothing for the week. Like if you have one day that you mess up, okay, you can get your $20, but beyond that, you're losing the whole thing.
That's kind of what I was working with.
And part of it is getting them to also, like, regardless of the percentage, a substantial percentage bonus that they can earn based off of, revenue production, but then it's the quality side of it. So no callbacks, no callbacks, no property damage. And that's where then you do have something like, at least for us in Maryland, I can't penalize you for damaging a ladder,
Hmm.
or the guy who backed our truck out of the shop door and hit the door frame on our brand new stinking shop. And I mean, I literally lost it I was like, I was doing a coaching call that morning. So I was in my office. I was like, there were 7 people that witnessed this happen. And out of 7 people, 0 said anything to me. And so I got to find out this afterwards. So I was pretty hot about that. But that really, like, it expedites, with that way for doing performance pay, that let's just say it's 20% and your bonus is 5%. Okay, so if you're not getting that 5% because you're having callbacks, because you're going to the wrong houses, because you're not taking the pictures and whatnot, then that person is seeing a huge impact to their pay. And it's like, where do you look at it as how easy are these benchmarks? Dude, you need to go to all the houses that you're assigned to. I mean, I think collectively we understand how easy that is. Like,
especially on a route job where
yeah, on a route job.
every weekday. Yeah.
Yeah, I made like I feel like maybe it was too much, but like when I sat down and started doing this $5 per day thing, I have like 10 things on there, and I'm like, is this too much? But it's basically like,
Yeah.
like not showing up late, finishing your entire route without going home early, taking a picture of the gate, not getting any complaints. And there was like 10 different things that on there that added up, and I'm like, this may be too much, but it's like the basic stuff for doing the job.
Mm-hmm.
Uh, but I like
Well,
that of doing a percentage where you get 24%. Well, if you mess up, you get 28% if you do everything right.
well, and so here's the other thing. What we also ended up doing, because it ended up simplifying it for payroll standpoint, was we did the percentages and then we switched it actually to a dollar amount for hitting above this threshold. Because when we were doing percentages, it was like if you hit 6,000, it was 1% for a lead. If you hit 7,500 and above, it was 2%. But so if you were at 8,000 or you were at 7,600 because of how you filled out your production sheet, then your bonus, and it was like, this is just ridiculous because now, yeah, instead of like, and some of the guys didn't like that. They're like, well, we're losing out on this, and try to make it like, this is costing me so much more in just payroll time for a person to figure this out.
Yeah.
And hey, you either hit 7,500 or you didn't. So that part made it pretty simple. And then there was, I forget what the other thing, I'll remember the other thing for the performance pay.
Justin, I will say, because all I do all day is look at people's books and like what's working, what's not working. You could definitely do 30% and be fine. The reason the franchises do lower is because they have so many franchise fees. They don't get to pay it to their employees, right? They got to pay it back to the brand and force it into a bunch of marketing that doesn't work, and you don't have to. So like,
that's true.
This is super true more so in route style businesses. Now you have a little insulation because you don't always interact with your customers. Like running a maid service business is this on steroids, which is you are only as good as your worst employee.
Right.
And like losing recurring clients sucks. It's worse than losing a one-time client in a window cleaning or landscaping job or whatever. Like when you lose a recurring giant client, it's like, damn, that's a hit. That's a lot of revenue in a year. And marketing wise, it can cost a lot to get that back. And so part of the reason I like emphasize recruiting is is in a route style business, you're only as good as your worst employee, right? And so you're out. That's always the threshold of like, who's our worst employee and how do we raise the bar on them? And you can get away. You can do 30% really easy. Like anywhere in home service, when your total cost of goods sold is below 50%, that being labor, payroll taxes, training costs, gas, supplies, materials, tools, equipment, and that sort of stuff. If you can keep that below 50, you're in the money. You're scalable, like it'll work all day. Now, if you can get down to 45 or 40, like more power to you. But if you have to like take it out of your employee's paycheck, they're the most important part of your business, right? So it's like I have seen people get too tight on cogs and they're miserable because they have a shitty team because they don't pay them well enough. They try to save all their money on cost of goods sold instead of on the rest of the business model. Like there's nothing better than paying employees really well if they're really good. You can't pay somebody really well if they suck, right? Which is why you got to have the confidence to fire them and the people to replace them. But there's nothing wrong with paying a team really well, because if you can attract all the best talent versus your competitors, you always win, right? The person that's the best at marketing doesn't win. The person that's the best at recruiting always wins, because marketing doesn't do shit if you don't have good employees. Like I looked back at our maid service businesses after like a decade. Every time we slowed down, and that's recurring style business, weekly, bi-weekly, or monthly, it's a little more intimate. Like we do interact with the clients every time, and so it's really like we are only as good as our worst.
You don't go to the wrong house to do maid service.
We did clean a wrong house or two over the years. I mean, we had 100 employees, right?
A couple, yeah.
Wrong houses. But when I look back at data across 7 locations and all these houses that we had cleaned, every time our business slowed down, it was never because of marketing. Never. Like for a decade and hundreds of employees and thousands of clients, our businesses never slowed down because we couldn't find more clients. We would slow down because we didn't have a good team, and we'd have turnover. We wouldn't have people to replace them. They would steal clients, whatever it was. And so like it always just like doubled down on the recruiting side of it, is if you have the best employees and you give them the upside and pay them well, not so well that it breaks the business model. But like I said, I know your business model, you can do 30%, like you'll be fine. And if that means your employees don't leave and you attract really good ones away from somebody else, like the best businesses to run are the ones where you don't have to worry about your employees, right? Because they worry about themselves. They do all the worrying for you. So it's like, if you can find that sweet spot, you don't want it to be too low, right? You don't want it to be the 22% of the franchise, because then it makes it really easy for you to say when somebody's interviewing with you, is like, yeah, you can go work over there and make 22% and be treated like the stuff that you're out there picking up, or you can work here and have a career and have a job that pays you well, and your percentage base, you get done when you get done. You can go hang out with your friends. You can go hang out with your folks. You can go hang out at the beach or the bar or whatever you want to do. But we work hard and we get done. And if you want more work, I'll go sell you some more work, and you'll get the upside of it.
The one thing that's kind of held me back, and we are getting a lot more like denser routes. So, I used to have a lot of spread out routes, and now I think we're down to like I think 4 routes that are a little more spread out than they should be. And that has been the one that has kept me from pulling the trigger on paying, 30% or whatever per stop, is because I don't know how to do it that way, where you have these guys that have, 40 stops within 30-mile radius, and then you got a guy that has 25 stops within a 70-mile radius. So I'm trying to figure out, like, how do you do that? Do you pay him, 35% on his spread out routes? And, I don't want to be changing it around where they get paid more on a spread out route and then less on a tight route. And I'm like, do I wait until every route is tight? That's what I'm trying to.
I would track mileage. I mean, real simple on that. I mean, if your mileage for that route is 30 miles or it's over this, then you have that percentage, which you kind of just agreed that, like, it doesn't mean that they're actually bringing more revenue. You're just trying to look out for them from a compensation standpoint. Like, hey, man, this is why we really got to get it. And then the thing that I was going to say earlier too is, you were talking about getting the picture of the gate, right? One of our big things that we've continued to harp on with the guys is, first things you do at the job site is put out a lawn sign, take a picture of it. hook up water, and take pictures of the house. Go around, do the picture of the house. And so often they're like, I showed up, guys got rave reviews from this client, $1,600 job. I show up, there's no ladder max stabilizer on one of the ladders, and there's no lawn sign out. And if I had to break it down to them, guys, like, this isn't just like, hey, Rob wants a lawn sign. By you putting out a lawn sign, more people see you guys while you're there doing the job and gets more impressions, which turns into more people calling for more jobs so that you get more jobs and are staying busier. And so, like, explaining all those things, like, you guys think it's just one more task, but like by doing this, it covers your butt. Taking those before pictures makes it so that Miss Jones can't say you broke that. You covered yourself on it. And for you, just, I'm like, guys, if you take that picture, it makes it such a quick and easy, yes, Dan, we were there. I'm sorry that your dog ate something this morning and decided to crap 4 piles of crap today, but we did clean all your stuff today at 11 o'clock. And then it's super fantastic. Like, your office staff is like, guys, this is why we need those pictures, because then when they say it didn't happen, I could say, well, actually, they were there at 10:30 a.m. instead of the guys without that picture. Like, my office manager is very clear with them. Like, you guys are making it harder for me because I don't have these pictures and proof that you did this or this or this.
We have that exact same thing with tall grass and like leaves and stuff and debris in the yard. We tell all of our guys, if there's any reason why you might miss piles that is out of your control, take a picture and send that to the office. And then it's all the time. We'll get a customer complaining, and the first thing the text says is, "Well, tell them mow their grass. Grass was so tall, I couldn't see anything." And I'm like, "There's no picture. So since there's no
Yep.
picture, you have to go back. If you would have gave us a picture of the grass being, 8 inches tall, we would easily tell them, like, hey, I'm sorry, but your grass is too tall. We don't have a 100% guarantee whenever your grass is too tall." And you would not be going back there. And it's so hard for them to remember that. But it's just like what you say with breaking stuff. It's like, just take that picture and we'd all be good. Then what you're saying with paper performance, it'd probably help us with that too, because they'd probably be a little more inclined to take that picture if they knew they were going to come back and not be paid for it. Because now they don't really care, because they're like, they're getting paid to go back.
Yep. Yeah. It changes everything. It's like, hey, yeah, you're still on the clock hourly wise, but you're losing all your commission. So actually you're not making money, like on a redo in your paper performance. And I think to Rob's point, one of the nice things about paper performance is you can structure it where if they don't execute on stuff, you can take stuff away. Like, you could say, hey, your base commission rate is 25%. And if you do all this, you get your 26%. If you do all that, you're 27. If you do all that, you're 28. Like, 30 is what you should be able to get every week. But if you miss one of these, it's 1%. If you miss one of those, it's 1%. And so, like, you might lose percentage points for that week. You can get them back the next week, but like, you got to execute.
And then you even have it where it drops their percentages too. Like, that's something where you can't deduct their money, but you can say, like, if somebody's having chronic callbacks, the normal base is 25. Guess what? You've been demoted down to 23%. So now for the next 2 weeks, if you have any additional callbacks, like, this is your warning. You have it again, in those 2 weeks, then it's termination. You have 2 weeks to bring this up with no callbacks, and then you go back to 25%. And we've had a couple guys that we've had to do that. We pay for power washing. It's 11% for leads and 9% for assistants. And then there's bonus opportunities that can earn, leads can earn up an extra $150 a week in bonuses. But it's just giving, again, it's showing the carrot, and then also where you got to crack the whip, and you got to do that too.
Yeah. That's good to know that you can lower the percentage down too, because that would help out a lot. My buddy, we have a Verizon, cameras in all the trucks. So there's a GPS, there's a driver facing camera, forward facing camera. And my buddy told me that he'll lower their percentage if their driving is bad. He'll do it based off of that. And then I think he does like a Christmas bonus. He'll give them like one, I think it's like 1 or 2% of their annual revenue that they brought in.
Yeah.
So it tracks all of that. But yeah, I need to get more into it. But yeah, it's those spread out routes that bother me. I'm like, I just feel bad. These two guys with these, Monday and Thursday, they're driving so much, and they're going to get paid a lot less because of, the percentage, where these guys over here with these tight routes are making a lot more, and it's not their fault. It's my fault for not making the route tighter.
So we were dealing with a little bit of that right now, where some of the guys felt like 2 crews got treated better, made more money, and this and that, and it was, are we being punished? And we had some drama with it all, but I was trying to make it clear, like, this, I'm not punishing, you with the long route that you have that not as much money for it. Actually, it's more about me rewarding the guy who's been with us longer that I know can produce. And this is your opportunity. Show what you can do. And then, hey, my goal from a business standpoint is I don't want any loose routes. I want this stuff as dense as possible so everybody's making a lot of money, because when you're not making more money, we're not making as much money.
Yeah, the company loses when the route's not dense too.
Yeah, like
we all are losing together, or we're all winning.
I want this to be better for you too. So, see that opportunity.
And so put that damn yard sign out. Put that yard sign out so we can sell some more shit.
We have these little Post-it notes. I don't know if it's backwards for some reason, but I made these to like put on clients' doors, and they're not doing that. So I'm like, if you just put these on doors, you could have 5 houses right there by each other.
Oh yeah, you'll
your
route up right away.
So
Justin, what's your initial incentive for that? If I call in from that, what does that person get right away?
So I've told all my guys, I said, you don't got to put your name on this. If you put these on doors and Miss Smith calls and signs up service because she had a Post-it note on her door, we're going to look at the route manager. We're going to see who was on that street. And if she signs up, you get $20 for this. So every client that signs up, I tell them, I'll give you $20 cash. And you just get that from it. And then you make your routes tighter. So I think the performance-based pay would help us out a lot, because they would get $20 plus their 30% would come off of every time they do that house, with them being neighbors.
Well, and then depending on the number of people you have, you make it a competition. So minimum 5 new signups a month, and whoever has the most gets $100 on top of everything they've gotten. Like that's where you start gamifying all that stuff. And then you also play around with it. Like, I have no idea your numbers, but like, if 20's not doing it, you try 30, you try 50, which might be ridiculous. But hey, if at 50 you find all of a sudden, holy crap, all the jokes, you start adding 50 new clients a month. I mean, yeah, $2,500.
50 is a hell of an acquisition cost for a recurring client, though. Like, that's a win for everybody.
But I mean, dude, if you did that for 3 or 4 months in a row, and then you're like, all right, now we got to adjust this because it's been so effective. Like, that's the kind of crazy part about it. It's like, what would that actually look like? If you added
50, if they could do that, because Google, like you said, customer acquisition cost. My Google is $134 is my average CAC cost with Google. So 50 would be way cheaper than Google.
Hell yeah.
And plus, it's making routes tighter than Google can.
I was gonna say, pay it to the dude versus Google, right? Like,
right.
It's way better to pay it to your team than to pay it to Google.
Yeah. Yeah.
Could you make your cards dog treats? Like, put dog treats with them?
We've done that. Yeah. There's actually a place by me. I need to do that again, but there's a place called 3 Dog Bakery, and I can actually go up there and they'll give me, like, last time I went there, they gave me like 500. They're already like dog treats in bags with their card on it, and then we just stapled our card to the other side of it. And
this is where it's fun to create ideas for you to go do more things. But like what Starbucks has their puppuccino or whatever, it's like, all right, can you do that? And for this week, you guys, like, I'll buy a bunch of gift cards, but you give them, a puppy dog bone or whatever. They might balk at it, but if you can get that relationship with them, there's some cool stuff that you can do.
That's true.
So, yeah.
It's fun to give another business owner a bunch of ideas. It's not always great to be the one getting a bunch of ideas, but you're a good sport, Justin. You're a good sport.
Yeah.
I'll take it, because I'm like, we've got, we're a lot bigger now than we were before, but I want to get, I want to double again this year. Last year was our first $1 million year, and then last month was our first $100,000 month. And so I'm like, if I could do 2 million this year, I've doubled every year. And so I'm like, I don't see me doubling at $1 million, but it would be great to do 2 million this year.
Yeah, the pace changes a little bit.
Yes,
the dollars versus the percentages starts to change a little bit. But I mean, hell, based on how much you sold in April, right? Like the market still isn't saturated at all if you're able to sign that many people up in a month. So
and it's growing. Like, we have I'm on a YouTube channel now. It's a Scoop Start, and they're like just bringing on people. He's got a school or school group on there. That
Yeah.
Poop Scoop Millionaire behind me.
Yeah.
That's a school group, and we have like over 700 members in there, and so they're trying to just have more people start their own companies doing this, mainly
Yeah.
to bring more awareness to the industry.
Yeah.
Um, and it's working. It's creating some competition, which kind of sucks, but at the same time, it's bringing because like I always tell people, when you do window cleaning or lawn mowing, pool cleaning, everybody knows that that exists and they know they can hire that. So your
Yep.
job is to get your business name out there. In our industry, there is still a large number of people that don't know that you can hire a pooper scooper company.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
so you're trying to get your industry out there and your business name out there. So it's a lot harder. Our phones aren't
Education
ringing
is
off the hook
expensive.
like other ones. Yeah.
Yep.
And so I
Yep.
think getting a lot more competition out there, especially, you get 100 companies start up and then 90 of them fail. All those customers will be coming to us because now they know they can hire somebody.
Well, and they're like,
Uh,
yeah, they're conditioned to only think about outsourcing it, right? At some
yeah,
point, it's like once I got my oil changed yesterday. Could I change my own oil? Yep. Am I going to change my own oil? Nope.
right.
Right? Like
Yeah,
I am 100% conditioned to be like, I don't think about doing it myself. It doesn't even cross my mind.
yeah.
I'm gonna pay somebody else to do it, right? Like once
And
we're
it,
all conditioned to like outsource a thing, it just becomes a thing that we do.
and everybody said, I still meet people today, that they're like, they think that I came up with it. They're like, oh, you're a genius. How'd you come up with that? And I'm like, I didn't. Like, there's a lot of companies out there, and there's companies that have been in business for over 20 years. Everybody's like, that didn't exist, 20 years ago. I'm like, I know companies that have been in business for
Yeah,
20
it
years.
it did. You just didn't you've
Yeah.
been under a rock, man.
There's a company in my area that like there's still some people that don't know that this industry exists, but there's one of my competitors. They have like 15,000 clients. They're doing over $1 million a month just scooping poop, and
That's
there's
crazy.
still a huge number of people that don't even know that they exist.
Yeah.
And so like there's just so much out there for us to grow that I'm just like I'm staying in it, and I'm like just waiting for the snowball to take off. Like
When are you
as
gonna
soon as everybody knows.
when are you gonna start cleaning litter boxes?
Well, I know some companies that do that. I don't want to do it. I know a company that does it, and they basically it's a cool model. They basically give like new clients, they'll give them 3 litter boxes, and they give them litter, and they'll have one as like a reserve, and then they'll use one, they'll put it out, and they'll use the second one. And so they leave it on their front porch. They basically just show up, dump it, spray it out, put it back,
Interesting.
and it's easy, but I don't like cats. I'm allergic to cats. I think cat poop smells way worse than dog poop. I mean, I guess
Litter
I don't have
box
to deal with it
gross.
anymore. I don't.
Yeah.
I keep going back to
Yeah.
like what I don't like, but I haven't
Yeah.
scooped a yard in 18 months.
Oh damn.
So that's been good. I haven't scooped any yards, and I haven't talked to any clients. I got my office guy does all that, so
What about your own
maybe we
yard?
could maybe we could pursue it now.
I saw you had a dog in your house. Who's
Yeah, I got
scooping your
3 of
yard?
them.
You got 3.
My wife sometimes picks them up.
Do
I
you
don't, I don't mess with it.
do you have a dog preference? Having picked up and been exposed to so much poop, has it influenced the dogs that you have? Like, oh, don't get one of those. Their shits are real messy. Like, what
God, yeah. The worst
Dog,
dog
dog.
is a bulldog.
is it?
The bulldog is just every single one. I mean, we did an event. It was at like a dog show, and so it was like a bully breeds. It was all bully breeds. It's a nightmare. Every single one of them. They do nothing but shit all day, and it's diarrhea. I don't know what's wrong with bulldogs, their digestive tracts, but it's the worst smelling. Yeah, that would be it. But
So
like
no no
the
bulldogs for
best one
you.
to clean up after is usually a golden doodle.
Yeah,
It's no smell, solid black. It's easy to clean. I guess they just feed them better.
just
But
got to figure it out. It's a
it is some
system.
weird things I've learned. Bully breeds and boxers poop twice as much than other dogs. They just have a faster digestive tract, and so they poop a lot. It's weird things that I've learned, but
Yeah, you got
it's
some
things that
weird
I
knowledge.
noticed. Yeah, it's things that I noticed, and then I brought it up to guys that have been in business for over 20 years, and they're like, "Oh yeah, we charge extra for boxers, or they charge extra for pit bulls just because of that." And I was like, "Oh, I didn't know that was a thing. I just noticed
New
it while I was out
variable.
here."
Yeah, breed
Yeah,
Oh,
variable.
that makes sense. Makes
yeah,
sense. And that customer probably knows, yeah, this is really, really bad.
yeah. That's why they're calling us. Yeah,
Yeah.
Yeah.
No, I'm
Jets,
but
I'm
yeah,
serious.
out.
we're trying to
Thanks
get
for letting me pop on, man.
the
Yeah, see you, Rob.
we're working on getting everybody to try to raise their prices too. Like I've been told by a lot of home business, owners, like home service business owners, that like everybody tells me like you shouldn't be going to someone's house and doing work multiple times a month for less than $100 a month. Like your average, you should be at $25 a week. And it's just, it's our industry. Like they just, I guess because it's so easy to get into, you get a lot of people with more of
Yeah,
like
low
a
barrier to
broke
entry.
mindset. They'll
Yep.
charge, $15 or $14 a cleanup. And we're trying to raise it. We're up to 18.99 now, but I'm like, I want our lowest price to be at 24.99, where it's $25. Because we haul it off, we have to dispose of it. We're doing it,
Yeah.
but it's hard because you got mowers charging, some yards are $25 and they're there for 15, 20 minutes, and we're
Mhm.
there for 5. So if it's a struggle trying to remember that. I have days where I'm like, yeah, we need to price our, service higher. And then I remind myself that we're there for 5 minutes. Like, we're probably making more than the lawn guys because I got one guy, no gas, no machines. It's just a 3-cent trash bag.
Yeah. But the lawn dudes that are charging $25 to mow a yard are also the guys that are out of business in a couple weeks. Like they just
That's
they
true.
don't last, right? They're the same dude that
The
was you
bucket
and
Bob.
I when we were kids. Yeah, they were you and I when we were kids mowing for 20 or $40, and like you thought it was a lot of money. But if you're really a lawn mowing company, like you got to be charging $75 every time you show up. Think about the truck, the trailer, the mowers, the whackers, like the
Hmm.
dude, there's barely any money left to pay for the dudes. I see and again, I see everything. I'm the bookkeeper. I see all their financials. There's so many lawn mowing businesses that don't make shit. Like they
Yeah.
make enough to pay for their equipment, and they think they all talk about their revenue because that's the only dollars that they have to talk about. Because there ain't none left
Right.
when they get done with it. Like they don't charge enough to actually pay for the business model. They pay enough to push a mower down the street a lot of times. Not all of them, right? And the successful ones because they got 30 crews, right?
Hmm.
They're
Oh yeah.
everywhere, right? But they're charging a
Um,
shitload because they can be reliable, because they can be consistent. The guy that's charging under is the same lady that'll clean your house for $20, right? Or $20 an hour, right? But a real maid
mhm.
service is charging $60 an hour equivalent. So, any industry that's home service, you can always look at, like there's a dude cleaning windows for $100. Our minimum is 300, right? Like, do you want a reliable service or do you want a dude in a Honda Fit or whatever you say? Yeah, right? Like,
Yeah.
who do you want, right? Do you want the dude with insurance and workers comp, or do you not?
Yeah.
And like that's a trade-off. Our bookkeeping, we're pretty low as a minimum. My number one competitor starts at like $495 a month for bookkeeping. I start at 147. You can go hire anybody for probably $20 an hour for bookkeeping. You can probably go get it real cheap. But it's one of those things
Yeah.
where it's like, what are you actually getting?
I think I
Right.
pay I pay 250 a month for mine. And I don't
Yeah.
know what I feel like. I don't know what they do. I don't ever see a P&L. I have no idea what any of that stuff is. They just are basically like putting transactions where they need to
Well,
go.
you should book a demo with me because we
So
send you a video analysis every month to tell you how you're
that
doing.
would that would
Um,
be awesome.
but I think like in any industry, right? It's like you don't know what you don't know. There's a lot of business owners that don't know how we do bookkeeping. And when I say bookkeeping, you think of some fat old lady in a basement that just puts your shit in a QuickBooks so you can pay your taxes. And I'm like, no, man, like we touch base with every single client every single week. We're like scooping your poop in your QuickBooks. We touch base with every client every single week. We have 2 people tagged everybody. We send a video analysis, and you can hit me up for CFO service. But nobody's out searching for that because they don't know that's what bookkeeping can be, right? They just think it's somebody needs to go into their QuickBooks so somebody else can do their taxes. So
Right.
you're constantly kind of fighting that. There's somebody out there that is doing a shitty job of the same thing that you're doing and conditioning a consumer to think that that's what that is. And so back to the growing the pie, like it's nice when there's people growing your industry. Like, yeah, it creates competition for you, but it also conditions the consumer that it should be $25 a visit, right?
Hmm.
It shouldn't be this $10 visit shit because that guy is going to be out of business real soon. And so it like the competition starts to elevate everybody. And it's almost hell, the dude that I ended up merging a window cleaning business with in Minneapolis, and now he runs it all and bought us out. He was our number one competitor. But we were like buddies. We'd help each other out, right? And
Yeah.
like there's probably 30 really good window cleaning companies here, and most of us are all really good friends. And we help each other out all the time. And we also make
Hmm.
sure everybody's charging enough, right? Because like not
Yeah.
that we're ripping people off. And I do the books for a bunch of them, right? And like we talk openly about how everybody's doing. So we're helping each other out, right? We're helping grow the pie and
Right.
making sure that everybody's getting their windows cleaned and everybody's paying for holiday light hanging and everybody's getting pressure washing instead of like trying to hold our little shitty piece of the pie. We just grow the
That's how a
hell
lot
out.
of people are in our industry. Yeah. I'm friends with
Yeah.
a few, but then we even have like we have a franchise that's one of the biggest in the nation, and they're doing like a special right now where they do $8.99 per visit for like 3 months. I'm like, I'm not. I know how they're doing it because they have so many clients that they're just extremely dense. It kills me because I'm like, I'm not dense enough to charge $8.99. Plus, I feel like it devalues what we do.
Yeah.
It's like a lot of people they think that especially in Texas, they think that dog poop is a fertilizer. So it's like educating people like they have a protein-based diet. It's not a fertilizer. They don't
No.
eat grains and grass like cows. But there is people that argue with me on a daily basis sometimes that because it's poop, it's a fertilizer. They're like, I
Yeah.
just run it over with the lawnmower and spray it around my yard. And I'm just like, I just want to be like, well, for one, it's not a fertilizer, and two, the lawnmower does not spread it all around your yard.
Yeah.
It's
And
so
and that's
irritating.
why your yard looks awful.
Yeah.
Because it's not fertilizer.
Right. And they literally think that
That's why you have
it's
dog
a it's
shit
a
on the bottom
thousand
of one of your
pieces.
shoes right now.
Yeah. Right. Yeah. Yeah. It's all just hidden in the grass. So
I got
it's a weird thing to know a lot about it, but it's just for me, it's just the thing that just it took off. I'm like I'm at the point now where I make more than I made working three jobs. More than three times the amount I used to make working three jobs. And I don't work at all. I'm doing what I wanted to do. I'm home every day with my kids. I'm not really doing it. I don't talk to clients. I don't talk to technicians. I don't scoop yards. It's, Sweep and Go automates things because it's a pretty easy job. They just go out and clean up yards and there's not a lot of overhead. And it
yeah.
just gives me time freedom to do things that I want. And, it just takes the numbers to get there, which is where we're, finally at that point.
Yeah. That's the I don't think everybody's made for that level of business, right? Like you can look at a lot of operators and they can't get out of their own way. They can't delegate
Hmm.
stuff. They get hung up. Um, Being a leader and a CEO is a much different job than being a technician or even being a manager.
Yeah.
And there's different goods and bads that come with each level. Um, but it's funny, not funny. It's interesting watching where people get stuck, right? Like not everybody's
Yeah.
meant to scale a business. And I kind of see it all. And there's people where I'm just
Yeah.
like, man, like, I don't know that you should go past this level. Like
I've seen
you
people
ain't
like that too. I'm like,
you ain't
I'm
gonna
not,
like
I
it
want to
past this point.
hire people are scared of hiring people like smarter than them. And I'm like, I want to hire everybody that's smarter and better than me. I had a guy that gave me a hard time one time that he could do the yards faster than me. And I'm like, I want you to do them faster
Yeah,
than me.
God,
I
I
want you to
hope
do them
so.
better than me. Yeah.
Yeah,
I don't want to do this anymore.
yeah.
And
Prove it.
I'm
Go get
I'm
them.
not that way. I'm like I like the E-Myth book. I'm like all that. I just want to give it to everybody else. And I just want to sit on the beach and drink cocktails while my business is making money. Even
Yeah,
like when it was just me for the first 3 years, I get Google reviews and it's like Justin's amazing, Justin this, and I'm like, I don't want everybody to love
yeah.
Justin. I
Say the
want them to
business
love
name.
Department of Duty.
Yeah,
Yeah. Or my technician's names. Like I want a bunch of names on there. And the
yeah.
business name. Like I don't care if anybody even knows who Justin is. I just want the Department of Duty to be,
Yeah, Justin's not
nationwide. And
scalable. Justin's not scalable. He ain't coming out
no.
to pick up your poop. Don't worry about him.
Yeah, yeah. I got no worries about being the guy. I'm just, now I'm like, I mean, I kind of am with the YouTube stuff, but just there's franchises that are a lot bigger than me, but they don't share stuff, and so we kind of got so with the school group came out and the YouTube came out. It was like people started looking at guys with 1,000 clients as like the big dogs,
Yeah.
and I'm just like, there's guys with 10,000 clients, but to people that are just starting out, they're. I got on a
You
podcast the other day, and someone was like staring at the screen. They're like, he's like calling his wife. He's like, Justin's on here. And I'm like, what are you talking about? Like,
yeah,
I'm not even great. But
I'm
like to
just
them in
Justin.
their
Yeah, what are we
eyes,
talking
yeah.
about?
Yeah. And so then I started getting into coaching and people were like paying me to do 2 Zoom calls a month with them. And now I'm
Yeah,
getting paid to do these, Scoop Start YouTube channel to make some videos on there. And it's turned into, a lot more than just Scoop and Poop.
yeah,
I've created jobs for people and now I'm coaching and doing YouTube videos and I'm on your podcast. I never thought I'd do stuff like that. So it's turned
nice.
into a lot more than just picking up dog poop.
Yeah. Um,
And great.
where I got like a couple more questions for you and we'll wrap it up, but I'm curious like where you see it going. What are you focusing on in the future from an education and industry growth standpoint? What's like top of mind for you? Where do you see Department of Doody going? Like what are your goals for your company? I'll leave it there. I don't want to ask too many damn questions or we'll forget what the hell I asked you.
For me, like people ask me that, and I'm like, I don't have like a stopping point. I don't have like a goal of like 10,000 clients or whatever. It's just as far as I can get it. If I could get a Department of Duty in 3 or 4 big cities in every single state, I would do that. If someone in Canada or Australia called me up because they saw a YouTube video and they wanted Department of Duty there, I'd figure out how to do it. I just take every opportunity, and for me, it's like just something fun to learn. I went to an event at Joshua Latimer's office here in Texas, and
Yeah.
I met a guy who owns a pressure washing business in Boston, and he's owned it for 25 years, I think he said, and he's got 20, 30 trucks and got a full blown business there. And I gave up and kind of gave my story and how I started and where we're at now. And it was awesome because he just met me afterwards, and he's like, man, I really like what you've done. And he's like, I got this business that had it for over 20 years. It kind of runs itself, and makes me a lot of money. And he was like, how would you feel about having a Department of Duty in Boston? And I was like, sure, like let's do it. Like if it doesn't work out, it doesn't work out. But I'm open to everything. So
Oh yeah.
I contacted my website guy. I had a Boston page made up in a day, and um, we're still working. I talked to him today actually, but he's like, man, I got a truck sitting in my office at the white Tacoma. I'll wrap it. I'll throw out some money on ads, but do that. And then I had a guy in Kansas City, in Kansas. So now we technically have a Kansas City location and a Boston location, just because they reached out to me and they want to use my branding. They want to work with me, and I'm like, I'm just, I'll take every opportunity just to learn something new. And I even told him, I was like, I'm not even gonna charge you anything for doing it. Like, let's just try it and
Yeah, let's just
see
make
what
it work.
happens. We'll
See what
we'll figure out the
happens.
money later, because you two guys having a location for free could turn into me selling locations for 40, $50,000, in a few years.
Yeah.
So I just take it because it could turn into something amazing
Do
just
you
starting out how it
do you
is.
see it going that way, that you would franchise it or license it somehow? Is that kind of the vision for you, is to get it expanded into multiple cities?
Yeah, I would love to do that. Yeah. Like I have one of my guys has always wanted to live in Austin. He's my office guy, and he scooped me for 9 months. And I told him the other day, I was like, dude, I'm serious. Like, if you want to move to Austin, I'll pay you 40 hours salary, and you just go start an Austin location,
Get it going.
you know? And so, yeah, I would love to, I mean, that's just how I am. Like, I don't really care for like me to make, hundreds of millions. I want to impact, more people than what I could do by myself. If I could, I told one of my guys today, he's the guy signing up, pulling up to a supervisor. He's just a technician, but he's a smart guy. And so I told him that I was like, I'm not just trying to make like hundreds of millions by myself. If I can, if you come to me one day and you say you're moving to Austin or to Houston because of your family or whatever, and you need a job, if I'm able to, I'll pay you 40 hours salary, and we'll start out with 0 clients and grow up from there.
We'll figure it
And
out.
just yeah, just figure it out. So I don't know if it'll be franchising. There's a lot to learn with that. I spoke with an attorney about a month ago about that, and um, right now, we're kind of going the route of just doing like licensing agreements.
Yeah.
I
Yeah.
need to go get an
Franchise has a
LLC.
lot of hoops. Lots of
Yeah.
hoops.
So we're kind of wanting to do like some kind of like license agreement where they basically own like 90% of their location, and
Yeah.
I just, 10%. And the attorney was telling me about I need to go get like an LLC for like a holdings company, and then
Yep.
put every location underneath that. So
Yeah.
that's kind
Have
of things
all
I'm
your
looking at
investments
doing
in
in the
there.
next few weeks. Yeah.
I had a guy I used to work with that was doing that with like garage floor coatings. Instead of franchising it, he would actually put the initial investment in. He wouldn't put any labor in, but he had the business model and he had the money. So he'd say, like, I'm putting the money in and here's how much I own, and you own the rest of it, right? Like, you're the majority owner, but I'm the investor and the one with the expertise. But I want you to own it. You can pay me like a licensing fee to use my branding and use everything else.
Yeah.
But that way you're the one, and I have found this in different business partnerships. It's really valuable to have the operator have more skin in the game. I've been the operator with less skin in the game, and it didn't end well, because eventually,
Hmm.
like, the operator needs to own their thing. or at least have the majority of the skin. So they're the one losing the sleep at night and not Justin.
That's true. Yeah.
And so it's like, it creates an interesting opportunity. It doesn't have to be a franchise where like they pay a fee and they own all of it. It can be somewhere in between, right? Where it's like you can still be an investor and they can still license from you and you have some equity in it. And I thought that was cool. Like he would always put the money up front rather than like a franchise where the franchise buyer has to put the money up front. He would be like, no, I'm going to put the money up front. Like I'm going to pay to open this location for you. Like that's how invested I am in it. And I thought it was a cool like paradigm shift of, no, I'm not asking you to risk everything you've got. I'm going to show you how confident I am that we can build this thing because I'm going to put the money into it. Like I'm going to own part of it, right? You don't own all of it. I'm going to own part of it with you. And you can pay us licensing for the branding and the marketing, whatever. You can use our back office. But we're not going to force it. We're not going to whatever. Like you get to choose. You can use us. You can use whatever you want. We'll probably be better because we happen to create your business model. Like we know a thing or two.
Yeah.
But I thought that was like a pretty genius way to do it, where like he immediately bought equity in it. But the operator still had the majority, and I think that was always important because then the operator can't like leave, can't bail, like has to. If they don't succeed, they're the ones that have to figure it out. They're the majority owner, right? So.
Yeah,
There's a lot of ways to skin that cat.
That's how Mark was in Boston. He was like, because I never knew someone to do that. And he's like, dude, like anything it costs, shirts, truck wrap. He's like, I got money. I'll just pay for it all. And advertising. And I was like, okay. Like, I'm
I
going to
guess we're
talk to
doing
somebody
this
that knows business. Like, yeah, let's do it. And he's like, I'll move as fast as you want me to move. As fast as you want to get this done. We'll just do it. And I'm like, okay, let's do it. Because I mean, I'm all for trying out. I was like, if you change your mind a month from now, no hard feelings. Like, it's not going to bother me. It's just a learning opportunity for me because whatever I learn in that month is I'm going to use it for something else. So, but we talked today and he's still on board and, wants me to talk to his wife, get our wives together and kind of talk about their side of things. But I'm just like, dude, you already have a, seven figure pressure washing business. The business works. You know how to get clients. Like this is just another home service business. So I'm trying to get him to just pull the trigger and just do it because I would love to like travel up to Boston just to go visit one of my locations.
Yeah,
see the area.
Yeah, man.
Yeah, it'd be super cool.
I got a closing question for you, and then I gotta like go clean up my house because my home cleaners come tomorrow, and my wife's out of town, so I'm on the hook.
I hate that. We have house cleaners too, and we always have to clean before they come. I'm like, why are we cleaning the house? We gotta go pick everything up before they come clean.
It's because you have 5 kids. That's why. It's because you have 5 kids. And so it's like the minute you pick up and you look behind you, you're like, what? How did the Play-Doh get out there? And where is that stuff? And why are all the shoes scattered there? Right.
It's 9 o'clock at night. My wife's like, the cleaner's coming.
Yeah. It's like, it's a guy that owned a maid service business. I get it now because it's impossible to clean when there's a bunch of people shit in the way. And you're like, I don't want to touch all their stuff. Right. Like I will clean all their stuff and make it smell nice and look nice, but I don't want to touch all their stuff. Like that takes forever. Right. It'd be like picking up dog poop and the whole yard is full of confetti or toys or
dirt plugs.
Dirt plugs.
Camouflage poop.
I got 2 questions for you. How does somebody follow you on YouTube if they want to hear more, if they're interested in what you got going on, they want to follow you? Where do they find you?
So right now I'm on the Scoop Start podcast. He's basically started. William has a business called Swoop Scoop in Washington, and he started the Poop Scoop Millionaire Group, which is on school. So I'm in there too. That's where you can, instant message me, join the Poop Scoop Millionaire Group. He's got like 15 different classrooms in there about, Google marketing, Facebook marketing, starting your business. He's got amazing stuff in there. And then he started the Scoop Start YouTube channel to try to reach more people. And so I'm now on there. I've got probably honestly about 15 videos on there now, and I'm making 4. I'm doing 3 shorts and 1 long video every single week. So we got a lot of videos coming out. But this is my little backdrop that we created for it. So
I like it. It's sharp.
That's the main thing. I don't have my own YouTube channel. I just never really, I've always wanted one, but I don't want to get into the process of trying to grow something all over again. And so when he contacted me, he's like, "Hey, I got an editor. You just upload it to Google Drive and, just put your knowledge out there and help people out." So I did that and started messaging me on this, school app, asking me about coaching. And so I was like, I don't I haven't done it, but sure. So I made a
Yeah.
Calendly account, and I got a little Calendly set up where I got a group coaching at $50 a month, and then one-on-one coaching at $200 a month. So it's super cheap because I'm very
Yeah.
new at it, trying to figure it out. But
Yeah.
it's been good because for me, it's the information that I have. It just feels normal and natural to me because it's what I've done for 7 years.
Yeah.
So it's a good feeling when I get somebody on like a coaching call and I just start telling them stuff. And they're like taking notes, and like they're on Zoom, and I'm like, this person's taking notes about what I'm saying, and so it's cool because I don't see it, but to other people, they kind of remind me that like I've done a lot, I know a lot about it, and so it's a good reassurance. I'm kind of getting some out of it too that way, but I just enjoy helping people, and I'm
Heck
like,
yeah.
I want to have somebody create $1 million pooper scooper business in half the time that it took me to do it with my help.
Yeah.
I would love that. So
Yeah.
that's why I'm doing all the school and YouTube and the coaching.
It's not quite at the same level, but it's kind of like watching your kids do something and like working hard at something and
Hmm.
succeeding at it. Working with other business owners has a very similar feeling of like, oh man, like these are problems I've solved before, and I can't, like, you don't even need to pay me. I just can't wait to like show you how to
Yeah.
help, like how to help you get through this process. So hopefully it doesn't trip you up as much as it did me when I was going through it.
That's my
Uh,
problem is like, if I do that, I had a guy I talked to him yesterday, and I forget what state he's in, but we were talking, and he's talking about his routes being all messed up. And I did the same thing. I was like, dude, we'll just jump on a Zoom call tomorrow. Show me your screen, show me your routes. I know how to fix it, but I don't know how unless I see it. And I'm like, I'm not even gonna charge you for it. Like, I'm just so excited because it was such a pain point for me for so many years before I like figured it out that I had to use like in my I talk about Joshua Latimer a lot, but he's like my like hero for the business stuff. But I sat at my computer one day, if I had my routes up, and I was like, what would Joshua Latimer say? And I just pictured him shaking me, like, what the heck are you doing? Like, just let these go, grow this, prune that. And so I did it and it worked. And I feel like I learned a lot from doing that. And so when this guy brought it up, I was like, dude, like, let's just jump on a Zoom call. I'm not even
yeah,
gonna charge you for it. I don't care if it takes us 2 hours, but if I can fix this for you and I have to go through what I went through, it excites me to do it. So
yeah.
I'm having a lot of
I
fun with it.
Back to our paper performance discussion. I've done that a few times lately on paper performance because I'm like, oh, you got to use paper performance. And they're like, I don't even know how to set it up. I was like, let's get it. We're jumping on, we're screen sharing, we're going into your CRM, we're going to figure out where to get the data from, and we're going to build it out. Like, you can
Yeah.
choose when to implement it. Here's ways that I've effed up trying to implement it. And here's some ways where I think I've got it right implementing it, and how we've done it and what worked and what didn't work. But it's like, yeah, I can't bill somebody when I'm the one having so much fun, like
Yeah, no, it's
having a
hard.
good time.
My wife's the tougher one. She's like, "Are you charging him for that? Like that's your time." And I'm like, "No, I can't. I just want to help him. He doesn't have
Yeah.
the money. I know what to turn to fix it. How can I not do it?
Yeah. Yeah. It's too
She's
much
like,
fun.
"Well, we have bills too, you know." Like, the bills are fine. I've got the business. We're fine. I just want to help people out now.
I,
So it's
I,
it's
I,
it's hard to keep it straight.
yeah. I actually, we talked about this on my radio show earlier today too, because Michael Gregory, who's a business partner of mine in our recruiting business, um,
Wow.
and he owns Click Call Sell, which is like a digital marketing firm. Uh,
Hmm.
he does do coaching and like high dollar ticket, and he bills all of his time. And I'm the opposite. Like, I don't bill hardly any of my time. I will if I'm like nuts and bolts, like actually working on something, but so much is like me coaching or giving advice. And I rarely, if ever, bill for it under the precedent of I don't want to trade my time for money. My time is mine, and I get to always choose where I give it. And I can't be bought because I don't give a shit
Yeah.
about the money. I'm going hunting and fishing. That's gonna always be my priority. And
Yeah.
then I'm probably gonna take my kids and my wife out hunting and fishing too, and that's gonna be my priority. And so, like, if my time is available, I'm trying to find who to give it to, but I ain't gonna bill for it. I don't want to try to scale that. I'm not scalable. I don't want to tie my bills to me trying to bill my time. I want to grow a badass bookkeeping business that's a great recurring service, and my employees know what to do, and my clients know how it works, and everybody stays and does a great job. That'll pay every bill there ever was to be paid. I don't want
Hmm.
to trade my time for money. My time has no dollar value on it. It's priceless. It's worth millions of dollars and $0 all at the same time. But if I'm enjoying it and I'm having fun helping people, like, that's priceless. That's my favorite
Yeah.
thing to do. You don't need to pay me to help you figure out paper performance. It's my favorite damn thing to do. I should be paying you, right? Like, and people ask me, like, how do you keep going on a podcast? Because I do a radio show every Wednesday, and then I do this Wednesday nights, and sometimes, like last week, I did one Tuesday night, one Wednesday night, and every once in a while, like, I'll miss a week, but I try to keep a pretty regular cadence. I'm like, because I don't care if people watch. Like, what else? I mean, yeah, you're juggling around schedules and trying to get the kids to bed and this and that. Yeah, I'd love it if more people watched and tuned in. That's super awesome. But what else would I rather be doing besides hanging out and talking to Justin and drinking a couple beers? Like, that's for me. It's so fun. Like,
Yeah.
why would I build a business where I would have to do shit I didn't like to do? I'm building it in a way where I have a damn beer in my logo. Cripes. Like, does it get any better? I'm from Wisconsin. I got to have a beer in my logo.
Right.
So it's like, again, back to the trading time for money. I don't see any value in it. I see like a value you can't even measure, and therefore, why even try to measure it? It's free.
Right. Yeah. I
Just
see
having
that
fun.
too. Yeah, that's what I struggle with a lot. That's the people that were doing coaching, like in my industry. That's what they I told us. I was like, I'll just do it. I'll just talk to people. I don't need to charge them. And he was like, they're like, okay, well, just wait until you do it enough times, and you get sick of it being, answering the same question 1,000 times. You're gonna want to start charging for it.
Oh, and you
So I was
will,
like,
and
I'll
people
just do
will
it
take
really low.
advantage of it. Yeah, like if somebody takes advantage of it, then they're just cut off, right? Like,
That's
then I'm
true.
done
Yeah.
helping them, right? It's like that's their charge, is they don't get to book time with me anymore. So it's still mine. Still always get to decide. They don't get to pay me and then they're in charge. It's
That's
so
true. Yeah.
cost effective that I'm always in charge of it, and I get to decide who I give it to. I got one closing final question for you, Justin. And
Mhm.
that is, if dogs didn't even poop, if there wasn't even a yard to be picked up. And I'm going to say you can't even answer with anything in the home service space. That can't even be part of your answer. That world exists tomorrow, and you have to go like find a thing to do to pay the bills and have some fun. What would you go do tomorrow?
Mm.
What would you go work on? Would you
That's
start?
hard. 'Cause as you're saying that, I feel like I knew what you were gonna ask. I'm thinking of all these home service stuff.
No,
Non-home
I like to
service.
rule stuff out because I don't want to. Because you would just say like I'd get back into junk removal because I feel like I
That's
could
yeah.
figure that out now. I already knew
I
where you
think
would go with that. Like that would be too easy, so I took it
the
off the table.
one thing that I've always wanted to learn, and I got frustrated about, years ago trying to figure out, was like drop shipping. Trying to figure out how to get into drop shipping. I've listened to podcasts, I've read books, I bought some guy's program in Austin on it, and it's like just trying to figure that out, because there's a lot of like I have a foam party business now, and there's a lot of inflatable bounce house businesses,
Oh yeah,
and I hate messing with those because they're so big and heavy, and then you gotta put them up twice because you gotta clean it.
yep.
And so one of my things was like, I want to get into drop shipping, selling bounce houses to the companies that want to go rent out bounce houses. Like that would be the thing that I would want to get into if I got into something about this, is figuring out how to drop ship bounce houses, because I've even contacted some people. There's two guys that have a podcast. They're from Australia that have a drop shipping podcast, and I messaged them about it. I was like, "How do you?" Because I was looking at it, it's like to get reputable, manufacturers to let you drop ship their products. They want to see like a real website. You got to have, how do they buy it? How do they purchase? You got to show them all the things. And I don't know if it was just a brain block that I had, just being ignorant because I know nothing about it. But I was like, how do I build a website with product without having a product?
I don't
And,
even
and I
have the
can't
product yet.
I can't use their images because then they might get me for copyright when I send them to look at my great website to try to get them to approve me. And so I reached out to the guys from Australia, and I was like, how do y'all do it? And it was so simple what he said. He goes, we find manufacturers in the United States, and we use their photos to build our website to show to our Australian manufacturers. So he was like, all you got to do is you find Australian manufacturers, use their images to get your, approvals for the US manufacturers. I was like, that's genius. Like, it sounds so simple, but I never thought of
Go
that.
elsewhere. Yeah, just go elsewhere and grab somebody else's stuff.
I mean, they're making six figures drop shipping like pergolas that you build yourself.
Oh yeah.
They've got a full website built out that looks like they are a pergola business. Like you're buying it from their warehouse,
Mhm.
and they've never seen any of them. They don't hold any. They don't have a warehouse of them. It's just you buy it from their website. They go buy it from their manufacturer. Manufacturer ships it to you, and they keep the difference. And I'm like, you could sell 20 pergolas while sitting on the beach in Hawaii, and all you need is a laptop and internet to just send them to where they need to go.
Just
I'm
middleman in it.
like, I'm way interested into that, but it just seems harder to figure out. And I don't know if it's me just trying to think too hard into it, but it's just like I keep getting stuck when I try to look into that.
Yeah, you got to
That's
find
something
a
I would love to
niche.
do.
You should drop ship playground sets.
Oh my gosh, that'd be cool.
Playground sets are like, you kind of got to put them up yourself. They're big and bulky and they're a pain in the ass and they're expensive. So it's like, if you're already spending $5,000 on a thing, you don't really care about another $1,000 of shipping. It feels different.
Yeah,
Like
yeah, I've done that. Yeah,
dollar perspective wise, like the
that's how they're doing the
shipping's
pergolas.
right? The shipping is
Yeah,
just relative to the cost of the thing. So it feels smaller when the cost of the thing's already thousands of dollars.
yeah,
Like you just don't pay attention to the shipping. You're like, yeah, I got to get this deal on this swing set because my kids,
yeah, yeah.
I'm saying
I
that
love
because
hats too. I collect hats. If I could sell hats and make a living, I would do that too. I would love to do that, but I don't know. Yeah, I think to answer your question, yeah, it would be figuring out if I lost everything today and I had to start over, my first thing would be figure out the drop shipping and
I
like
can
a
tell you
high ticket item like playgrounds.
with 100% certainty, you're the first person that's ever answered that way. So that's like kudos to you.
Oh
Originality
yeah.
is like that, nobody's ever said drop shipping stuff.
Yeah, that's the one thing I get stuck on that I'm like, I want to figure that out. Even to just do it one time, just get one order.
I
It,
drop
it feel
shipped.
like I it feel like I beat the level, right? Like I figured it out, I did it, now I'm done. I don't have to do this anymore. But I
Let me
just
know
got
when you
so
do. I'll
stuck on
send
it.
you a certificate of completion in a frame. I'll print out
That
like
would be
on
that
really
would be
nice
cool.
paper. I'll send you over a certificate of completion.
Yes, that would be awesome. All right, I'll
Once
figure it out.
drop ship to drop a ship. Yeah, man.
I'm
Well, I
weird
did.
about stuff like that. Like I like getting a T-shirt when I do events or even like certificates. So I'm like, I get weirdly motivated at small little tokens like that.
Yeah.
But I'm like, I'm gonna go figure it out just to get your certificate.
All right, you figure it out. As
Put it
we
in a
say
frame on
that,
my
I
wall.
laughed. I was dusting this off the other day when I was in the corporate world. I won this. It's called an Eagle Award. It's for
Oh wow.
working. It's for working harder and making less money in the corporate world, like you do. It was like a cool award, and it's heavy as shit. Like that's some real metal on there, man. Like you could hurt a player with that.
I want to
Um,
get a poop emoji one just like that to give to my like best producing guy.
oh,
I've been
dude,
thinking about that. Just having a big
yeah,
metal
you need
bronze
a
poop
huge poop emoji award for
or like
like
a
the most
big golden
productive.
shovel, big
Yeah,
golden shovel or a golden rake or something. I need to
hell
do
yeah.
something like that.
We have. I'll let you go in a second here, but we have in our business we have what we call core value vibes. And so we have our core values, and
Mhm.
everybody gets 10 points for the month that they can dish out to anybody on the team for anything, but they have to like hashtag one of the core values. Um, it's relative today because it's the last day of the month, and in order for them to win, they also have to spend all their vibe points because if you don't nominate everybody else, like you can't, if you're not a giver, you're not a getter, right? And so you can't win an award for the month if you don't give away all your points. And today was the last day of the month. So people are just like, shit, I got to give out all my vibe points.
Oh, that's
But
cool.
it's a fun way to like tie it back to the core values, and you can make them goofy, right? If you have a core value about like whatever, you could have different trophies for each core value award. And one should
Mhm.
definitely be a poop emoji. Just a big
Yeah,
ass.
definitely.
You could like we had in my last business, we had stickers for them. Like one of our
Yeah.
our core values is positive attitude, and if you got that one, you got a big Richard Simmons face sticker for positive attitude.
I like that.
So just goofy shit where it's like because nobody wants to talk about core values, like they're boring. But if
Right.
you make them fun and goofy, then people are like, man, I got 3 Richard Simmons stickers on my laptop for my positive attitude
That's
awards.
awesome.
Yeah, just make it fun. Poop
I
emoji.
like that.
You definitely got to have a poop emoji in there somewhere for a
Yeah.
badass word.
I do have poop emoji stickers. I made them up years ago when it was a fun thing to do, and then
Yeah, you got
I
it.
haven't touched them. I got a whole roll of them.
It's the best emoji by far
Yeah. I even
for no
bought
good
this
reason.
thing from this website. I'm really bad about like spontaneously buying things off of Facebook when I see an ad. And so this thing popped up and I bought it. And it's like a whole chain of like my logo. It's like from Trophy
That's
Stack, I
awesome.
think, but it's just an
Yeah.
ad on Facebook and I bought it. And my wife was like, why did you, it was like $80. She's like, why did you buy that? I was like, because it's cool. It's
Look
not,
at how
it's, and
cool it is.
it's plastic. It's not even metal, but it's just like, and I'll never wear it. I don't even have it in any of my videos, but I'm like, I just had to have it. So I
Yeah,
might get like a poop
badass.
emoji and get some of my guys like a big poop emoji necklace. Maybe I could
Yeah,
do
dude.
that, but they have these like in gold and silver and this, and I don't know, it's just one of those like spontaneous buy. I do that all the time. I have
Yeah.
like a shirt on sale or a hat on sale, and I buy it just to. And now that I'm doing YouTube videos, I buy these stupid shirts, and I'm like, not this, but one of my other ones. I just got it has like I have a Jeep Gladiator, so it's got a Jeep, a coffee cup, and it's got a like a dog paw print. And I bought it. She's like, "Why'd you buy that?" I was like, "Because I'm gonna wear it in a YouTube video." You know,
Yeah. Look how
it's
cool
got
it is.
coffee, it's got a dog print. It has to do with poop scooping.
Yeah.
So it's a
Came out.
shirt for the videos. It's a write off.
Maybe you should start selling some swag, is what you should do. You gotta start
Yeah,
selling some
that'd be
swag.
fun. That'd be fun. Yeah.
All right, man. Well, where if somebody wants to get a hold of you, how do they reach out? Should they just chase you down on the YouTube? Should they email you? What how do people reach out if they want some coaching help?
I mean, probably the easiest way is just my Facebook. I'm just Justin Owen on Facebook. If you can't find it on there, if they see me Justin Owens, and just look at Department of Duty. I'm on Instagram and Facebook with Department of Duty. But yeah,
Badass.
I handle all those apps. If they just message me on there, I'll get it.
Sweet, man. That was how you found me. That's why we're
Yeah,
here doing this. Although
I think
now
it was
you may have
Jared.
noticed.
Jared added me, and I saw you. I think on his page, and I don't know who Jared is. I don't know who you were, but he added me, and then it connected us. And I was like, hey. And I just started YouTube channels, and I saw your podcast, and ChatGPT told me the day before that to get on podcasts, and I was like, okay. And I saw yours, and I was like, well, there we go. I'm gonna get on
Yeah.
his.
This is the
So
world. This is the world we live in. Here we go. Must have been meant to be.
yeah,
And I
I'm
can
not.
help you with your paper performance. So now we
There
can
you go.
solve
Yeah,
that
let's
too.
do it.
We're gonna solve so much shit. Well, Justin,
I
I
show
gotta
you my
go.
spread out route.
I gotta go pee and I gotta go clean up my house so that these cleaners can do their
Yeah,
job tomorrow.
my
This
wife's
is
probably around the corner giving me an eyeball. Like, you better get
dude,
off there. It's what time is it? Oh, my watch died. Oh no, it's 11:20 here. Yeah.
yeah. Usually my wife does it because I jump on every Wednesday night to do the podcast and our cleaners come on Thursdays. And so
Hmm.
I'm not used to having to clean the house because she does it while I'm on here podcasting. But since she's in California
Nice.
drinking wine right now, like I'm kind of on the hook here. So I better get to that. But
Yeah.
Justin, super fun convo, man. I appreciate you reaching out and coming on. That was a lot of fun.
Thanks.
Let me know how I can
Yeah,
help.
I liked it.
Like as you keep scaling, hit me up when I can be helpful with nerdy finance stuff and paper performance stuff. That's the
For
world I
sure.
live in. I'm all about
Yeah.
it.
I don't know much about all that. I've got one bookkeeper, and it's who I've had from the beginning. So if there's anything bigger and better, I really
Yeah,
want to check it out.
we'll nerd out on it. We'll nerd out on it. We'll do some
Yeah.
shit. We'll do some
Do
shit.
some shit. Yeah.
As we always do, business nerds, we got to close this thing out. Y'all work smarter and harder. Go earn yourself some pride. Good night. End it.